Yeah, I was on the.
Yeah.
So obviously, I was on a cruise for the last 2 weeks. And
Another huge piece of shit.
That's why we had no show. Obviously, I left on a Sunday, came back on a Sunday, but when I came back, it was late at night. So I was on the plane home from Fort Lauderdale. I don't know. We were in the air at this point, and I was watching a movie, flying Delta. Apparently now Delta has the nice TVs like JetBlue does. Yeah. So you know how JetBlue has the TVs and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now Delta
ones.
does that too. So you can listen to music, whatever. So I was watching a free movie, and the guy behind me to my right, who clearly was not a sports fan at all, looked like he was like very attentive to his TV, and he was like, I can hear him talking to people around him, going, "Wow, this is unbelievable! I can't believe this is happening." And then other people started to like act the same way, and I'm like, I turn around, and I'm like, "What's going on?" But I don't want to ask, you know what I mean? So I'm just like kind of listening, and then he's like, "Wow, he was on the helicopter. They're saying that his daughter was on the helicopter," and I'm like, "All right, what's going on?" So I start changing the channel to the news on the TV, and I find out that they're talking about Kobe Bryant. I'm like, no way, this can't be real. But it's on CNN. So I'm like, it's a semi-credible source.
407.
But yeah, it was shock for the most part. And I wasn't using my phone or the internet, so I decided to turn on the phone too, because they have the free Wi-Fi as well. So I'm listening on the news, and I pull up my phone and I start looking on the phone, and I'm like, wow, everybody's reporting it. It went from he's on the plane on the helicopter with his whole family to 12 people are dead to him. He's the only one dead. There was
Rick Fox.
Rick Fox. Yeah, I'm like, where did that come from?
Dude, I'll tell you what, Rick Fox's people and his family must have been like,
yeah, he was on TNT the other night, Rick Fox, talking about
this is the thing that really grinds my gears about news medias and everyone wanting to be the first one to report a story, right? Like when it comes to sports news or any other sports related story, sure, you want to throw some half-assed story that you put together out there to be the first one to report it and then go back and fine-tune it later, sure. But when it comes to people dying or a tragedy like this, get your facts in order before you come and report something. I mean,
well, TMZ doesn't do that.
And they hadn't even notified family before they put the stories out there.
Yeah, that was the most disgusting thing of the whole thing is, TMZ is reporting this, and Vanessa Bryan has no idea that her husband and her 13-year-old daughter are dead. She finds out on the news.
Yeah.
Not how it should be.
The TMZ does have a good track record of being right. I mean, but again, journalistic standards, it's not.
And it took them a while to find all 9 bodies too.
It's because they don't. Journalistic standards is right. They don't follow those, so they got little Googans just running around watching everything that happens.
Because I don't think,
that's how they always write.
I don't think it was. It could be wrong. I don't think it was TMZ that reported Rick Fox. I don't know. It could have been.
No.
But
I think TMZ
they
was the first to break the story about Kobe.
Yeah, right. Because when I got those text messages that said "Wow, Kobe," I punched them into the Google search and TMZ was the only one.
Yeah,
the
Kobe
Google
died.
search.
You get
it was. I searched and all the everything else said LeBron passes Kobe on the all-time scoring list.
Well, yeah, you get the supplemental reaction to it, right? When TMZ reports it, now everyone else is behind the 8 ball, so they're starting to report it, and same goes for them. They're going to put out whatever they know or however they can catch a headline, so that who could possibly be on that copter with Kobe? Let's throw a name out there. I mean, that seems like what it became, and it's disgusting because it desensitizes the whole situation, and it really shows you like where their thought process is through the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't news reporters outside the Kobe Bryant household, like waiting for Vanessa to walk out the door so they could stuff a camera in her face.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with you. I'm also mad that Rick Fox wasn't on the helicopter. It's absolutely, it's fucking, it's awful. No, I'm just playing. It sucks. It's really sad. It really upset me. It really bugged me. The kid thing really bugged me a lot, especially his daughter. His daughter. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to like be an ass or anything, but she's like the best. She's like one of the best female athletes at her age in the world. I'd say about 99% chance she's going to the WNBA. I mean, there's not much there's not much of a demand for athletes in the league. I'm sorry. So like she had a crazy bright future ahead of her, and then she had another friend on the. Actually, I have the names right here. Man.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, that's a big part of why Kobe was taking such an interest in growing women's basketball through the WNBA and through all the volunteer stuff he's doing. And his daughter had a bright future in basketball. Obviously, she's following in his footsteps. But I don't know what it was about the story that really kind of hit home with me. I don't know if it was being a father myself and thinking about that situation and how he must have felt in those final moments of being on that helicopter, or
if they were fun. But I think it hits home because it's like we all grew up watching Kobe, right?
Yeah,
all of us here, because he's exactly my age. And Kobe's like 2 months difference. He's 2 months older. He was 2 months older than I am, and it's like it really reminds you of like kind of your own mortality. Yeah. Even though you know that, and you know that it doesn't really matter if he had money or if he was a basketball player.
It's something that is brought to conscious mind only when it happens.
Yeah, and it makes you nauseous, like sick.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's to think like he's on a helicopter, and I've heard the people like, well, this is what these superstars get for living the lavish life of a helicopter, and it's like, no. If you know the intentions, he's got 4 kids, and he's trying to be the best dad he can and be at everything he can for all of his kids. And
it's a 10-minute flight versus 3 hours in traffic in LA. Like they said, he was doing this for years. He's been on zillions of helicopters.
And as we all know, the way the traffic is in LA, there's no chance he's going to be able to get to everything. He's got 4 kids again. So I mean, he's doing within his financial means what's necessary to be there for his children, which is commendable. I mean, there's nothing to put the guy down about or poke fun at. Oh, well, he got what he deserved because he's in a helicopter. No. People fly in airplanes every day. They don't want to go down in the airplane. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you told Kobe Bryant as he stepped onto that helicopter, hey, today you're going to crash in the hills of California, he'd be like, hey, guess what? I'm going to drive today. Like, it's just a dumb thing to say. And there's been a wide variety of reactions to his death, and some of them have been very unsensitive and very uncaring, essentially. Like, what has this guy done for you? He's a superstar basketball player. You don't post when, troops die in Iraq. And it's like, you're comparing apples and oranges. You really
that's your people, bro.
Who's my people?
The Republicans that talk like that. Well, guess what? They're not as important. Shut up. I get mad at me. I don't care.
I do see people post those things when those things occur. It's the latest news, and this is a face.
And it's different. There's people, especially people my age, right, who grew up early on watching Jordan. And then as the 2000 generation came upon, Kobe became that guy, and you grew up watching him. I mean, the better part of my life, I remember more about Kobe than I do about Jordan. You know what I mean? I watched Jordan a lot, but I got to watch Kobe for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, let's put things in perspective here. So there's a great deal of people who think LeBron James is the best player of all time.
Yes, because they've watched him.
But like they're even older guys, older analysts, older people that like, oh no, he's past it now, he's there. You know what no one says when they shoot? LeBron. That was never a thing. It's still a guy who's gone. Same thing with football. I mean, it's probably consensus. It's probably 50-50. Terrell Owens, maybe the best, second best receiver of all time. Jerry Rice is the best receiver of all time. AB was well on his way to maybe catching a little up to Jerry's numbers if he stayed in the league. What does everyone say when you catch a ball in your head? Lost him. There are there are one or two. There are players every now and then in these sports
that
transcend and supersede. Yeah. Michael Jordan. Me and you still believe Michael Jordan was better than Kobe, but we don't say Jordan. Yeah. It's just the way it is.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's things about Jordan that people do, like hanging the tongue out when they go to the basket. Like there's things. It's hard to explain if you didn't grow up a sports freak or a sports athlete and play basketball and understand what Kobe Bryant has meant to the game for the last 20 years.
But I knew it was going to be huge. Obviously, the story was, but the outpouring was bigger than I even anticipated.
Me too. Oh, for sure.
And you saying sports, it transcended sports because I had forgotten this. And Angel knows I'm as much a movie guy as I am a sports guy. Kobe won an Oscar a few years ago.
Yeah, he did for the
animated film. So he's transcended
short film,
for the basketball film, which was an op-ed he wrote, and then the guy had creative talent way beyond basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't think of that at that moment. Obviously, thought of basketball, but there's more outpouring, I think, than even a Jordan would have got, honestly, and for a tragedy, because he was involved in so many different things.
Yeah.
And not to mention that Jordan comes off more as an enigma too. Mm-hmm. He seems more emotionless. Like he got out of basketball. Like he was able to quit basketball too.
Kobe was pretty emotionless. Man.
No, but what I mean is Michael was not only able to quit basketball 2 or 3 times and be like whatever, but he then but like you don't really hear about him, dude. He's the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, and I bet a common fan wouldn't even know that. Like he almost seems like I played basketball because I was good at it. I wasn't really a fan. Yeah. Kobe's a bomb, more of he had ice in his veins when he played, but as a retired player, he was definitely more of a personality. Like, I mean, his video went viral of him freaking out when the Eagles won.
That's another thing that really drove me crazy was I read some comments and I replied to very few because it's not even worth debating. Honestly.
Oh, you are learning,
but
young Padawan.
But one of the comments that I had to reply to was one in particular. A guy said something about, this is embarrassing. These people responding the way they are to a guy they don't even know, a professional athlete who's done nothing for them. He plays a game. What did he do outside of basketball? And I'm like, that is the most ignorant statement I've ever heard.
Millions of dollars in charity work.
He's done more outside of basketball than probably anybody we know, or 99% of people.
If you know a damn thing about Kobe, know that he did more outside of basketball than he actually did inside of basketball.
He founded the league his daughter plays.
The guy had over 500 and something Make-A-Wish meetings with kids that were dying of cancer. Like, does he need to do that stuff? No, he doesn't. Like, that's all time out of his family, out of his day. That just goes to show you the character of the person that he is. You know what I mean? How many guys are in the NBA? How many guys are in the NFL? How many of those guys partake in something like that? Many times? Sure, maybe once or twice or 3 times. Sure, he was 500 something.
He was genuine, it seems like. Yeah. And like you've been hearing on TV so much, his second act, they keep hearing his second act was going to be as good. It was on its way to being as good as his career. And you can't say that about a lot of
you can't.
Professional athletes.
Hardly any, really. Yeah. I mean, the thing that I'm going to try to explain on the air today is why that the outcry and the sympathy and empathy for his family has been the way it is, because people say he's just a basketball player. He played a game. How did he have any effect on your life? You never met him. There's people in this world that you've never met that have huge effect on your life. Yeah, and
it's if you think, I mean, me and you are a little different in terms of like how we grew up, but like think of impoverished. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have much, and especially if you don't, let's say you don't have like a father figure or you don't have a sibling. When you look on the TV, that guy that you're idolizing means something as a kid.
Absolutely,
it absolutely.
Look
does.
at all the kids in the NBA.
Think about
the Tatums, these guys
who grew up idolizing this guy, who played basketball because of this guy. Yeah. And just think about it for a second. I'm going to give credit to I think a friend of yours, Mike, Craig DeMello.
Yeah.
So I was listening to Row 1, Seat 1.
He's a Laker guy.
The night after Kobe died, Craig's a Laker fan. Called in, and he said it perfectly. He said, for 20 years, Kobe Bryant stepped onto the court, gave 100% effort, 100% of the time. Didn't matter if he was winning or losing. Stuck it out. Played through injuries. Came out injured. Shot free throws. Like the guy was. You couldn't draw or create a more athletic, competitive, perfect athlete as far as the attitude towards the game goes. And if this guy put a smile on a kid's face over those 20 years, and we know he did it to millions of kids, right? I mean, how many kids, like he said, sat there in front of their TV for their entire childhood, watching Kobe, going to school, shooting hoops, yelling Kobe every time they took a shot, fade away. You know how many smiles that he put on people's faces? How many memorable moments that people in this world have because of Kobe Bryant? It's infinite. There's no number that you can put on them. There's so many, and we couldn't possibly count them all. And that's why the outcry is the way it is, because he has that impact because of his platform. You can't hate the guy because of that. Do we post every time a soldier dies? No, because I don't have any individual connection to that soldier. Is it a tragedy? Absolutely. But I don't know him. I don't know anything about his life. I never met him. He never provided me with any enjoyment. That's why it's different. And people just can't differentiate that.
And they're not mutually exclusive. I can feel bad that soldiers have died, and I can feel bad that Kobe Bryant died.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not gonna quote unquote win an argument with somebody like
that.
No, because what kind of mentality do you have to start with to say he's just a basketball player? Like,
that's the thing though.
He kind of way out in left field. So it's
but he's also a human being that a family,
right?
Let's be real about this. He's not just a person. He's a next level human being in terms of athletic ability and everything else. No, your guys in the military, like, obviously we're sad when military personnel die.
Yes.
They're Americans. We don't want that. That's horrible. But everything Jared just said, I'm not going to regurgitate it. That's all the reason why it doesn't get the same outcry. And also, he's not just a normal guy. You're all normal guys. You're all normal guys who are like, I'm just going to go to the military. He's not normal. He jumped 48 inches and then was like, I can shoot. So he's not normal.
Well, I mean, think
why
about,
are we treating them the same?
There are people that have served in the armed forces, and believe me, those people that have passed on and served in their country, those are all heroes to me.
Yeah.
And I'll never say they're not, but I don't know any of them, and I don't feel like I know any of them. They haven't provided me anything in my life as far as fighting for our country, which I respect greatly. But I don't have any individual relationship with them, whether they know me or not. And I didn't have that with Kobe either. But you feel like a part of you has gone when you hear a guy like Kobe died, right? And I'd feel the same, if not more, if it was Michael Jordan, because he was my idol growing up, right? Like you're a basketball player growing up. I mean, who else other than Michael Jordan is your idol, right? If you're my age.
Yeah, he was the gold standard for us.
And when there's been decorated military heroes that have passed on and their stories have been told, they become idolized the same way, right? Like that Chris Kyle guy that was I mean, they made a story about him. They made a movie about him. People love him. People were, you know what I mean? It's the same way. It's because the bigger their platform becomes, the more response there's going to be.
And basketball has become so global. That's the other part, right? So you're talking about Americans. It's everywhere.
Not to mention Kobe spent a lot of his life in Italy, so he has not just an American tie here to basketball. So
I'll say this too, like to the whole troop thing, because I made the joke earlier that the outcry of the soldier thing is almost always right wing. It's always like you go to their profile pictures and there's American flag in the cover photo. Like it's always those people.
It's always limited. It's always a very tunnel vision kind of thing.
It's the people that got the blue stripe, black flag on their profile pic. It's them. And we talk, and like even guys like Chris Kyle. Let's put a huge, if we're digging deep into how things go, let's put a huge asterisk next to his movie and everything he did. But anyway, all those, go to those same people. Not to make it too political, but go to those same people and see if there was an outcry for war hero John McCain when he was being ridiculed by people, other politicians, our president, things like that, or are they on the side of the guy they voted for? So now you're picking sides because that dude was captured, was going to be released. He said, "I'm not leaving without my guys." So he's like, "Okay, fuck you, stay in the cell," and he stayed. That's a hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a real hero. And that man deserved the law. And what did he get? He got ridiculed because he had differences of opinion with the person above him. And there was no who the hell was talking about that troop? Who's since passed on? Rest in peace.
And Mike's
nobody.
And Mike's dead on here when he says that they're not mutually exclusive. You can feel sorrow and angst for both. You can
as soon as you start with how about this other thing, X it is, you're already wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
it's
you
like
have no idea how I feel about truth.
Why is it one or the other? That's the thing that's like very I don't understand. Why can't we be upset about Kobe and troops that died?
Yeah.
Like
you can and we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, most of us are.
It's
you can grieve wherever the hell you want to grieve.
Right.
I think it is.
How did he affect you? Like you so well presented how he affected you in your life and in sports. And
I mean, I grew up a Celtics fan and a Bulls fan because I was a Jordan fan. So,
me too.
I mean,
no doubt.
I obviously like the Celtics because they're the hometown team, and I don't know, I just like them, and I liked Jordan and the Bulls. I liked Scottie Pippen, and if the roles were reversed here, like if this was Jordan, I think I'd feel even more upset about it as far as Kobe goes, because Kobe was kind of like...
Yeah, but you had more of a connection to Michael than...
Yes, but Kobe was... I mean, if you're a Celtics fan, Kobe's your rival. Like you hated him, but you respected him at the same time.
Like Derek Jeter.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
very much.
That's a perfect analogy, Mike, because Derek Jeter, right? Like every time he stepped to the plate, you'd be like, "Oh, I can't stand this guy. This guy sucks." Like, but you knew it wasn't true, right? Like you knew Derek Jeter
I was
was
scared of
probably
him,
one of the greatest baseball players of all time, right? And a sure ballot Hall of Famer. But there's just like some hate towards him because he's on the rival team and he was so good at what he did and he caused you so much grief. Basically, same thing with Kobe.
Yeah.
But when this happens, it's like you forget about all that. You know what I mean? Like I when this happened, I was just sad. It wasn't
Nothing else.
There was no other way to explain it, and I had never felt this way about. There's been plenty of athletes that have passed, and plenty of celebrities that have passed, plenty of celebrities that I grew up watching movies from, like Robin Williams. People I never felt.
Michael Jackson upset you? Michael Jackson upset me too.
Exactly.
Michael Jackson.
But Michael Jackson, there was at least a component of it that maybe was self-inflicted. At least you had.
No,
that.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes,
I know what you mean.
yes.
I was talking
The drug use.
Yeah, I was talking about this the other day. Has there ever been another athlete death that was so shocking? Taking into account the age, where
Athlete or just famous person?
We'll go athlete.
Okay, then
Len
no,
Bias?
then probably no.
Len Bias was shocking. But Len Bias wasn't as big yet, right? Because he had
No,
never
but
gotten
still.
to NBA. So.
He just got drafted and boom.
Yeah.
Hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we were having trouble coming up with anything. It was like Thurman Munson, but that's not
Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis. But he had there were some warning signs with Reggie.
What happened with Reggie Lewis? I
Well,
don't
in
remember
April
that.
'93, in a playoff game against the Charlotte
He
Hornets,
collapsed.
he collapsed on the court.
Yes, I remember that.
I was watching that live.
Didn't play the rest of the playoffs, and they were trying to figure out his heart condition.
Yeah.
And one day in July of '93, he was shooting around in the gym
Yeah, Brandeis University
and died.
collapsed.
Oh,
But there were warning signs with cardiology, and there was
yeah.
allegations of drugs and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
But
court case.
But
the one that came to mind, but this is before my time, was Clemente.
Yeah,
Plane
Roberto
crash.
Clemente?
It was
Yeah.
the only one that came up with that. I wasn't here to see how big that was
Yeah.
in the time, but that was the only one that it was like maybe was on that level.
But and when I think back about it, there's three. What's that?
I'm just.
There's three key deaths that really, I can remember a lot of detail about. Well, not three, but three incidences. It's the World Trade Center. Obviously, I was in high school. I remember that vividly. When Michael Jackson passed, that one really hit me because I've seen him perform live. That was like I wanted to do that. Of all other things I wanted to do, that was see him perform live. I did that in Washington D.C. It was incredible. I mean, the guy. Say what you want about the person that Michael Jackson was.
We can separate. That's another one. Mutualism. We can separate the art
Exactly.
from the person.
Strange dude for sure. 100% strange dude. But
if there was a dude who could have. Like Charles Manson gotten people to do what he wanted with his will.
yeah.
This dude could do it.
there's no doubt about it.
It's almost like he had power.
I was
weird.
in RFK Stadium, the old Redskins Stadium.
Yep.
That place was enormous. Held probably like 80,000 people. I mean, it was huge.
yeah, it was a giant bowl.
Yeah, it was packed, jam packed. It was called the Concert for America. It was 2 weeks after September 11th. I mean, we drove down past New York City. It was still smoldering, and we got down to DC. And it was like 20-something artists. Michael Jackson, of course, was the last. It was a 18 or 19-hour concert.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was smoked. Everyone, I mean, I'm telling you, no one left that stadium. They waited for Michael Jackson. And we got to sneak down to like the third row on the side of the stage. And he came out. People waited almost a day to see this guy. He came out, he played one song, Man in the Mirror. And I never seen anything like it. People were fainting, literally fainting. Like, those things you see on TV where like the pastor touches your head and people that was happening to people in the crowd. It was incredible. And I don't know what it is about the guy, but he had this aura about him when he performed that you were just frozen in your shoes. Like there's no other way to describe it. He just took you over basically as he performed. And then when he passed, I remember clear as day. I had Shania, my dog. She was a puppy at the time. We were walking her to Jones Beach, and I was on my way to Jones Beach.
I was working at the residence
Yeah.
at that time. I remember.
And I don't remember how I heard about it. Maybe probably through the phone, I'm assuming. And I would just remember standing on the beach, wow, Michael Jackson's. Really
I didn't feel
no
that
way.
was that shocking though. I didn't feel. I remember.
Yeah,
I
like, it was
remember
like
being like,
It wasn't shocking.
it's big news, but I didn't remember it being shocking.
It wasn't
Because
shocking,
like-
but it was unbelievable at the same time because
like again, he seemed like a deity, so it's like he can't die.
you just assume like
He's gonna live
people like
forever.
Make
Kobe.
this concoction.
Yeah.
You just
Jesus
assume
Christ.
like people like Kobe and like Michael just live. They're
Yeah,
gonna live
Kobe,
forever.
yes.
Like you don't ever think about them dying because they provided you so much joy and so much pleasure that you couldn't imagine them dying.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt with Michael and Kobe. And
Well, it happens in
I,
the music world.
I don't
a
know
lot
if
more,
I'll ever.
right?
I don't know if I'll ever
Prince,
feel that way
Freddie
again.
Mercury.
honestly.
Oh,
You
Elvis.
probably,
Elvis,
honestly,
Jimi
you
Hendrix.
probably
Go
won't
on
for
and on.
Michael, and here's why. Michael's a relatively healthy guy. He's almost 60 now.
Yeah,
He was
so it's kinda-
51.
He's gonna so
yeah,
he's
not that
51.
old. Shit.
I thought he was
Chances are-
54.
No, he was
But, like,
9 years older than
but-
Elvis when he died.
But you'll be older, and he'll be much older when he goes. So it'll probably be different. So like
You're
you'll be
talking
in a
about
different
Michael
place.
If he
Jordan?
dies at
Yes.
80 years old,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
you're not gonna. He's gonna be all over the news, but it's not gonna be this.
But dude, as far as
This.
Michael Jackson, dude, I rode my bike. I put on my Michael Jackson T-shirt that I had, and I rode my bicycle to BBA, and it was like it was shitty out. It was kind of like cold and windy, and I just shot
He
around.
honored Michael Jackson
I
with shooting
shot-
basketball.
with a CD Walkman.
No, I did, yeah. It was
Sony.
it was in my pants, and I was listening to him while I was shooting. Yeah, hell yeah, that's exactly what I did. And then Mr. B, I think Mr. B was there, just checking something, and he was like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I just need a minute."
Yeah, it's strange, and it's. I feel like it's perfectly normal to have that reaction. I mean,
Yes.
whether or not you know the guy is really irrelevant. I mean, he still had some sort of like you still turn the TV on every day. If you were a Kobe, a Lakers fan, to see Kobe Bryant, that was a part of your life.
We can put things in perspective, because I know like Mike said, is differentiating. So like I 100% understand the thought process of what's your deal with this guy, you don't even know him, blah blah blah. And again,
I don't.
I don't either.
Because I'm not sitting here crying, but it's.
Here's
it's,
why I understand the thought process based on the context. If the context is you are a fan and you're about to physically assault somebody for making a joke or something about Kobe, then I understand the thought process of, dude, are you all right? You know, if someone was making fun of your death, Kobe wouldn't be there, right? Like that, I get. That I absolutely get. But when it's the other way around, Kobe. When it's the other way around,
That's the way you honor him. I throwing up a brick.
dude, that went in.
That hit the plaque and
Listen,
fell over.
in was just getting it over the table. The whole room is in.
I
Today, the
know
whole
that.
room is in. I wasn't aiming for nothing.
The whole room is
The whole room is in.
Oh, okay.
It's the only way he can.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
The whole
like,
I've
room's
seen him
the hoop.
try layups.
Like so, when
That's a pretty big rim job you got there.
Try the veal.
Jesus. But like in that, because like, and we're not gonna get into it, but like there were like again like comedians like getting death threats and stuff like, oh, you think it's funny making fun? Oh, I'm gonna come and kill you. It's like
What has there been? They haven't been.
we're not gonna
Yeah.
we're not gonna
They
get into
have?
it there. Yeah, we've had
About
a
Kobe?
couple
Oh yeah,
edgelords.
the
a couple-
day he died.
Yeah, a couple
You gotta be
edgelords.
kidding.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
day he died.
And it's in
Talk
and it's-
about it. Talk about it.
Nobody big though.
No, someone
'Cause
huge. Someone huge actually. So
Say it, share
so
it. I wanna know.
Ari Shafir.
That's not huge, but go ahead.
So here's the thing: you say he's not huge, but he's a
on.
multi-millionaire.
We got a call. Two dudes and a mic.
Hey, am I on?
You are.
Who's this?
Who are we talking to?
I got a question. I got a good question for you guys.
Who's this?
Hi, this is Eric.
How you doing, Eric?
Big fan of the show, first time caller.
Awesome.
Hearing you guys debate, I wanted to know who do you guys think is the biggest death during their either playing career or just after their playing career? Thurman Munson
Hey.
from the Yankees.
Hey, we already.
Roberto
Hey,
Clemente.
I know who this is. We had this conversation the other day. I just brought it up.
I thought it'd be a good toss.
It is. We brought it
Thurman
up.
Munson, Roberto Clemente, or Kobe.
Yeah, he actually just said
I
Clemente in.
think
Munson,
it's
yeah.
Kobe.
I think it's Kobe as
Kobe.
well.
All right, I'm gonna listen to you guys. I'm gonna hang up and listen to you guys.
All right,
Awesome.
thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
But yeah,
I think it's Kobe. It's gotta be Kobe.
Yeah, about I
Hands
don't know,
down.
like 10 minutes ago, we actually just said that we were bringing up names. We said Reggie Lewis, Clemente. And
I don't
we
think
did
any
say
of those
Munson.
other guys had the
Um,
same clout that Kobe has.
No.
I think Clemente,
community outreach.
maybe.
Community outreach too, you know?
It's just so it's before I was born by so long that it's just
Yeah.
hard for me to conceptualize. But here's a guy going to deliver aid to Nicaragua. He was a big
Yeah, that's
and,
the thing.
and he was an active player at the time
yeah,
too. So it's
that's a big problem.
Dude,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
and
look-
baseball was probably bigger at that time too, right? The NBA wasn't. Big
I mean,
at
if we're
that
going
time.
with the if we're going with the soldier versus
don't
athlete
you cut
thing,
me off, you son of a
You're
bitch.
doing
I'm
the
gonna
Pat
say-
Tiller?
Dude,
Yeah.
shut up!
I mean,
I was gonna
like,
say to appease everybody.
Even last summer, Tyler Skaggs of the Angels.
Oh, that was tragic.
That was wild.
That was
dude.
when it came out though. 24 years old or whatever he was. I said, no, it wasn't on the boat. It was he overdosed.
Yeah.
I remember I said on the show, I said, this is one of two things.
This
This is a medical emergency or an overdose. There's only really two options if you're 24 years old.
And we had the guy from the Marlins, Jose Fernandez,
Yeah.
who was a good pitcher.
Yeah.
But again, these are all like kind of self-inflicted. You know what I mean? Like he's drunk on a boat, driving 100 miles an hour.
That was the boat.
I mean, the Clemente
It's still
thing,
sad. It's just not the same. And again, there's not really. You honestly don't really have to explain anything about like covering your tracks about why it's not as. It's not. They didn't play 20 years. They didn't have 20 years of impact. They didn't have the same community impact. That's all it is. It's not that they weren't. It's not that they were less important human beings.
No.
It's just,
but how much impact sports and outside of sports
exactly.
They had.
That's all.
Kobe was one of the all-time greats. So you start there in the sport.
Yeah.
And he's like I said earlier, an Oscar winner, Olympic gold. I mean, this guy. This is like the dream, right?
Yeah. So to get back to what I was saying about Ari Shaffir, so for casual fans of comedy who might think Kevin Hart is like, oh, that means you made it. That's not necessarily how it works. There are many multi-millionaire people bow down to wild comedians, but comedy is not as mainstream at the level of success that people think. A lot of times these guys don't want to be mainstream and they purposely keep out of it. He's one of these guys. So Ari Shaffir has a show on a storytelling show on Comedy Central. You might know him as the Amazing Racist from the early 2000s. Hilarious shit he used to do, which will come back up. And he's a comedian, multiple stand-up specials. Again, very successful guy, widely respected in the comedy community. The day Kobe died, he put out I'm not gonna regurgitate it. I'm not gonna regurgitate what he wrote. If you want to read it, go ahead. If you want to see the video, go ahead. But he wrote something that people perceived as insensitive towards Kobe. Now, this is where the world's hypocrisy comes into play. Every time, similar to comedian Anthony Jeselnik, who also does stuff like this. Whenever someone dies, the day of, he posts about it and he makes jokes. He does it purposely. He's a purposeful troll. Mm-hmm. He used to tell black people, he used to try to lure black people onto a boat with chicken to get them back to Africa on a reality show. And no one, and by the way,
Shaffir, not Jeselnik.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shaffir. So
I watched that yesterday for the first time. Dude,
it's wild.
I don't know how he got away with that.
The Amazing Race, I used to laugh my ass off as a kid. So this is out there. It's not new and everyone knows about it.
Is that Melanie's phone?
Yeah. Everyone knows about The Amazing Racist. Everyone in the community knows about it. It's not new. So he's gotten away with that. No one cared about that. That's all well and good. So we're picking and choosing stuff now. He made these insensitive remarks and a lot of outcry.
How long ago was this, though? Because that's a key.
Early 2000s. It was early 2000s.
Exactly. Back when comedy could be comedy. And everyone accepted it as such.
But you say that, but Louis C.K. got canceled for something he did the same amount of time ago. 16 years ago for doing this, for going, hey, I'm just going to pull out my dick and jerk off. You can do what you want. And girls just not leaving his room. That's all he did. And he got canceled.
But that's all he did?
Stop it. We're not getting into that.
He's sexually accosting women.
The door's unlocked. Get up and leave. I don't want to hear it.
Saying a joke and pulling your crank out are not the same.
No.
Not the same.
No, but okay. So you're a woman. Okay, let's say you're walking in a parking lot and you got a guy walks up, trench coat, flashes you and runs, and then I'm so traumatized.
Somebody could be, yes.
Guess what you're called? Soft. You wouldn't make it in Darwin's world. Sorry, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't want to hear.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Okay, but I don't have sympathy for you. I have sympathy for rape victims.
Okay, but you're telling me that a joke is the same as whipping your crank out. It's not.
It kind of is, because he was physically assaulted, beat up multiple times for making these jokes. Like, the guys wouldn't. It was a reality show similar to that of Sacha Baron Cohen. So yeah, and he obviously didn't press charges on people. Like, he got that they were angry, whatever.
Okay, dude. But if he was making jokes without pulling his junk out, he would have never gotten flack for that. Just like
that's not true. If he did that show today, he would be probably murdered.
That's my point. That's my point. Is a different time where comedy can't be comedy. It needs to be clean now.
Yeah,
it needs to be clean.
Well, hold on. Time out. Another thing. Part of the Louis C.K. thing that was a huge thing that got him in trouble was he was masturbated on the phone with a woman and she couldn't hang up.
Well, that's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. So now we're picking and choosing what is trauma and what isn't.
I don't know how you traumatized over the phone. I mean, that's kind of strange.
But you can't pick and choose what trauma is, right?
But you can control that.
I can debunk this all day, but we're not going to get into that. We're talking about Ari Shaffir. So Ari Shaffir wrote something. He's a really fucked up thing. And now, so what happened was he has a long-standing show that he does, like a stand-up sets that he does at this particular comedy club, they removed him, which is wild because at his level,
what he said, but
at his level, if you know anything about comedy, showing up is good for the club. He doesn't need that. The club wants you there. It's kind of like Jerry Seinfeld walking in, obviously not the big, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be here. He does it because he wants to do it. His agency, one of his talent agencies dropped him. I don't think it's his comedy one. I think it's probably his like Hollywood one. And death threats. The reason why it was canceled was because people were calling the comedy place and saying, we're outside and we're going to come in and kill everybody if you let him perform. So your thought process is, these poor innocent people died, so I'm going to kill innocent people.
Yeah, no,
Makes perfect sense.
No one's saying that the thought process behind it isn't correct.
But here's what I'm saying: that mindset that people came at you with why do you care? You need to use that. Take all those words and put them on the Ari Shaffir side of you're gonna kill a guy for saying words.
Yeah, that's equally stupid.
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
His beautiful wife, Kobe's beautiful wife, probably isn't even affected by this because guess what? This ain't the biggest tragedy that's happened in her life right now. Sorry. She probably has no clue. She probably doesn't give a shit.
What?
No, the words. The joke is what I'm saying.
Oh.
She probably doesn't give a shit. She's probably way too busy with the fact that the side of her bed is empty.
No, she probably doesn't even know.
So you care more.
I didn't know.
You care more than she does. Like that. So that's
Well, she doesn't know about it.
Exactly, because it's a non-issue. Because it's a non-issue is the point I'm making.
Yes, but
It's
you're not arguing what we would arguing because you're trying to say that behavior is as dumb as the other behavior, and I think we all would agree with that. But what you're trying to argue is that he's been doing this his whole career, so it's okay. It's not.
No, it's okay because no one has given him shit until now. You don't get to pick and choose who's more important.
I just read what he said, and what he said. Usually, I'm always on. We've done this on here before. I'm usually on the side of comedy is comedy, and we can. That's where we stereotype.
And let me preface this. He's a scumbag type.
Nothing he said was comedy, though. That was like just out of the.
No, it was a purposeful troll. It wasn't a joke. He was saying it because he gets a laugh off pissing people off. Which again, no one's defending the fact that he's getting backlash. With freedom of speech, there is consequences. That's fine. What I'm saying is, I don't agree with cancel culture. That's stupid. So that shouldn't happen. And number two, there are thousands of people to the point where he's actually, for the first time in his life, from what I've seen from like him talking and stuff, he's worried. He's never been worried before, saying they will kill him.
I could see
that's
that.
The dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
He didn't know that before saying it?
That's another argument.
That's the dumb... But no, I brought it up for a reason. The reason I brought it up is you said people were saying, how can you be this upset for this? But yes, take all those words and put them on the Ari Shaffir side, and then they make sense. They don't make sense when you're trashing people who feel something. That's when it doesn't make sense. You're allowed to feel for celebrities dying. Whether or not I knew them has nothing to do with it. What matter, but knowing them has a big thing to do when it comes to like, hey, I'm going to throw my life away and kill 10 people in a comedy club because of one guy in there said something mean.
Yeah,
that becomes retarded.
It's equally stupid.
But didn't he know there was going to be a backlash?
No,
he's not aware. He's not a good. I don't think he's a good comedian. I don't even know him.
He did know
because there's no awareness.
You better be expecting.
That's the thing. He did know, but as we all said before the show, none of us thought it would be the level it was. Like what happened when Kobe died. Like the whole world stopped. And we all admitted earlier, we didn't think that was going to happen. That's kind of crazy.
It wasn't a bad thing, though.
No.
I mean, the incident was bad, but that outpouring was a good thing.
So same thing. He underestimated the outpour. Because, like I said, he made joke when one thing he did after like people started going on his Twitter was he started pinning every celebrity death he's done that for and going, how come none of you were here when I did this?
Which is also stupid.
It's
what I said before. How come you didn't do that?
Exactly.
It's stupid.
I get it, but at the same time, I don't because it is hypocrisy. It is hypocrisy. It's laughing at racist jokes, but then going rape jokes are too far because rape has something to do with you. No, it's not too far. Nothing's too far. You can be mad at it, but you don't have the right to threaten people.
Making a joke about a guy that died today when his wife found out through TMZ
is wrong.
That's
too
far.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong.
What he said was way too far.
It's wrong, but it doesn't warrant death threats. Is what I'm saying.
In comedy, there's an important aspect of comedy that will allow people to laugh at the fact that
stereotypes. That's
right?
where the limit is.
Basically, at some point down the line,
that's really the limit. Because if you go past that, you're cutting off so many people from it.
At some point down the line, some comedian will make a joke about a helicopter crashing and mention Kobe, and it'll be funny because it's
It'll
5,
be-
6,
it'll
7
pretend-
years
yeah.
from now.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not 30 minutes after
But
he
no
dies.
one's denying that. It was wrong. What I'm saying is nothing he said warrants death threats and actual physical violence.
Well, no, of course, but
That's
people,
what I'm saying.
People act irrationally.
All
That's
right, so
just
let's stick
the
to
world
that
we
part.
live in.
Don't
Right,
you're making it seem like I'm defending. No, what he said was wrong. He shouldn't have done it. But you shouldn't fire people for tweets, especially when you've known them for 30 years and they've always done this.
Mm-hmm.
You've been working with the guy 20 years. He's never not done this, and now this one time,
it's a
shameful.
different
It's shameful.
This the guy who wants to punch the referees in the face?
Yeah.
I was just checking. You would punch the referees for a flag call,
Yeah.
right? A question.
This is-
Okay, I just want to check. I
this
make
is
sure
just-
because you're talking about hypocrisy. I just want to make sure you're the same guy who wants to punch the referees for a bad call.
Okay, but now that this is apples and oranges, because do you think I'd punch a referee in the face if I seen him?
I don't know.
My
Would you?
brother knows me. My brother knows me. Am I a violent person? Do I hit people?
He just
How
called
many-
a pass interference against
Hold
the
on.
Cowboys
How
in the
many-
Super Bowl.
But,
They lost
but how
the
do you
Super
know
Bowl.
those people that said they're going
And
to
he
do
walked-
that are going to do that? Maybe they
Yeah,
just
I
said
don't
it.
know.
You don't know.
I can only go by what's
Because
said.
here's why. Because I'm one person and you know me, so we'll go statistics on that. Chances are, even if it's 50-50. Now, if 5 million people on Twitter said I'm going to do it, at least a third of them might.
Well,
A third of them might.
5 million people said they're going to march on Area 51. That never happened. So
No, actually, they all
and
went.
and
They
how-
all went.
Oh, they showed up, but no one did anything.
And how many people?
But
are
they
gonna-
showed up. They didn't want to get shot. There's a difference.
Oh,
They
well,
didn't show up.
but they said they were going to do it. That's my point.
But your but your point is wrong, because
Oh.
if 5 million people on Twitter say I'm going to beat your ass in the street, trust me, at least some of them will beat his ass in the street.
less than 100,000 are going to do it.
No.
I mean,
because it was all hood rats that said it, and hood rats don't care about the law. Hood rats will just
this
punch
guy
you and
clearly
we'll do it.
doesn't perform in front of anybody that plays in the NBA. In front of any what?
No, he
no
do-
wonder he's not mainstream.
if you're a
No, he
comedian,
does. He does.
The
It's
fact
He
that-
won't ever
the
again.
fact of the matter is, if you're a comedian in today's day and age,
Yeah.
and you say something this controversial, this close to the event, you need to expect what happens.
Yes.
And that could be from A to Z. Whatever. If your career's over because of this, well, guess what, dude? You should have thought about that a second before you said it, because you're a professional and you know that that's possibly a consequence.
Listen,
it's the world.
Because it didn't happen
I-
in the past doesn't mean it can't happen
I
now.
am for freedom of expression after you express your freedom of speech, but you can't be for cancel culture selectively. You can't. You just can't. Or you have no.
It's
right
not
to stand on it.
selectively, though. It's
It
a
is.
time that
It is.
It's a time that's just what it happens. It's
But you're not for it. You've said
Things-
this before. You're not
I'm-
for it.
I'm not for
okay,
it.
but you're for it in this case.
no, not. I don't think he should have been canceled. I just think he's an idiot and a jerk, and I would never support him because of that. But
There's no such thing as cancel culture. If you said that at work, you'd get fired. And I don't work anything in basketball, so but I
No,
couldn't
that's
say
not
that.
true.
I'd get
That's
fired.
not. That's wicked false to say there's no such thing as cancel culture.
There isn't.
That's retarded. If a comedian says something, and he's a comedian, so
He's not-
comedians say wild. Not him. I'm not talking about him. Forget Ari Shafir.
Okay.
A comedian who says
getting her off the rails.
a comedian says something
good.
that's offensive. A lot of comedians say offensive things that you even like that are funny.
Yeah, sure.
And
There's a
they-
line. There's a line.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. In America, black comedians have way more rope to say whatever they want.
I don't
than
have a
white one
line.
does.
I don't have a line
because
on
of liberal cuckery bullshit.
I don't have a line on comedy, but the timing is important. The timing is very important.
But that's not what he did. Wasn't comedy. Do you see what
no,
I'm
it's
saying? Like, who
not.
would laugh
No,
at
there,
that?
there
That
was
says
there was
Lorraine that works.
Well, there was nothing funny about it.
Exactly.
It was
and
just
I, and I
a
explained
statement.
It was just like a
yes,
statement
and I
that was
explained
a-
it. It was a purposeful
thoroughly
troll. He did it purposely.
But
It
who
was
did
to-
he get a laugh from? Nobody. No one
even
thought that
think
was
he
funny.
went for it.
Did
That's what was
anybody
he doing?
Did anybody
That's what I'm saying.
retweet that and say, "Wow, this is hilarious"?
No, dude. It was.
Who wouldn't get fired
He
for saying
gets
that
a
comment?
laugh
Is
off
what I'm
of-
saying. That's
dude,
what I'm saying.
We
It's-
talk about this with people we argue with on the internet every day. People get laughs off of pissing you off, and when they're commenting all over your shit, you're
He
like,
did.
yes,
He
that's
did.
what it was. He's a psychopath. I know that. I get that. That's what I said from the start of the story.
I know.
He's a troll.
But if you're a
trolls don't say
professional-
funny things.
if you're-
Trolls say wild things.
If you're a professional comedian, right, your job is to get other people to laugh, not get you to laugh.
No, his job
Right.
is to do
I don't get it.
whatever. No, his job is to do whatever the fuck he wants, dude. Because he makes millions and he can throw his money. He can do whatever the fuck he
Oh,
wants.
yeah, I mean, he
that's his
made
job.
millions. I don't know if he's gonna have much of a career. After
No,
that.
That's what I'm saying. He canceled
lost-
himself, right?
No. He
Just
lost,
like if I go to work and
No,
say
he-
make those comments, I've canceled myself.
Yeah.
Right?
So here's the
Because
thing.
that doesn't make me any less of a good clinician if I said that statement.
It's not the
But
same.
I'm gonna get fired 'cause
Celebrities,
of my worldview.
celebrities, especially comedians, should be held to a different standard than Home Depot. If a comedian goes on stage and was like, "Listen, you know, black people like that Kool-Aid, right?" and then he gets fired for that, that's horseshit. That's horseshit. But you shouldn't say that at Home Depot. Fact, you shouldn't. You shouldn't say that at McDonald's. Fact, you shouldn't. So your point doesn't really make sense in that aspect.
Speaking of comedians, on my cruise, let's change gears here a little bit. On my cruise, I went to the comedy show, and the guy was hilarious. Usually you have the first comedian that comes on. He's like the intro guy, and then it progressively gets better and like more like aggressive. It was the opposite. The first guy was like the most aggressive, funniest dude. He said he did a perfect Trump impression. Hilarious. I was pissing myself laughing at this guy's Trump impression. That's how good it was. And then he goes, I did this little bit about an hour ago on the 9 o'clock show. He goes, and some guy in the back row over there, he stands up and he says to me, "Don't make fun of my president, you." No. He called him a derogatory.
Just say the word,
gay
dude.
term.
Just say the word.
He called him a faggot motherfucker, right? So
he whispered it into a microphone. That makes zero sense.
So
he got up and screamed it.
My daughter's in this house.
Fair enough.
So he says he gets up and screams that, and he says to the guy, "Hey, buddy, get your shit together. You can't be a faggot and a motherfucker at the same time."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Dude,
That's
I almost
super funny.
pissed myself.
But I'll tell you what. I bet if he was making racial jokes, that guy would find it funny.
He made hilarious racial jokes.
But that wasn't the thing that triggered that guy.
He made fun of everybody under the sun.
He
made fun of himself. He made fun of
the fact of the matter. What triggers the individual is not important. Get over it. Period. However, that doesn't matter in this case. In this case, what he said again was rude, and unthoughtful and whatever. But he does that, so it's not weird to me. If you have a drug addict brother and you let him into your house and he robs you,
seems don't like
be. You got a drug addict brother. He's messed you. He's messed you over before. And then you let him in your house and you leave, and then he robs you, and then you're mad at him. No, it's your fault. You robbed yourself. You're an idiot. You robbed yourself.
Listen, again, I think we can all agree that what he said was
stupid,
useless, stupid, and it had the poorest time.
But I'll defend to the death his right to say it. God damn it!
It is his right to say it. But I just don't think anyone should be upset about the consequences that he received because of it.
But again,
you take it as it is.
But again, you should not. I've said that there are things that people could say that I'd punch him in the face for, and you've told me that's stupid.
You said yourself, though, there's freedom of speech, but there's also consequences.
Yes, you're right.
And this is the consequences of his speech.
But you've told me that's dumb and that's not how it works before. But now you're saying, well, now if he gets punched, I get it. It makes sense. Yeah.
No. I get it.
I don't condone
nobody should punch him. But when you say that to expect that nobody's going to, like, I wouldn't want to be him.
So that's the thing. Like I said,
it doesn't matter. You know how many people with mental illness you probably
so here's the
elicited,
thing. When he used
to
do
that don't give a shit.
When he used to do The Amazing Racist, he got beat up on camera a bunch of times, and they'd stop him and be like, "Dude, it's a reality show." And he would say, "Dude, listen, I was just kidding. I'm sorry." He never sued those people. Nothing. He was just like, "Listen, I understand. I triggered you. I did this. It's because it's a reality show. It's fine." He didn't expect. So I expected 2 million people to be pissed at me. He didn't expect 10 million people on Twitter.
I'm sorry I triggered you by saying triggering things.
Yeah.
Aren't you funny?
Yeah, but dude, you're a fan of Sacha Baron Cohen. He does the same thing.
Yeah, but it's very different.
Why is it different? He says we should throw Jews down the well, bro.
Oh my god. That it's
not different
because he does it in a comedy skit versus the day a guy died.
Yeah, I'm not talking. Yeah,
was Sacha Baron Cohen there in the Holocaust with the guitar?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you just said. You said he got beat up during his comedy skits back in the day.
I don't know the guy. I only know this incident.
When he did we watched videos. A black guy attacked him and beat him up because of his racist skit.
A comedy show or a sports show?
I don't know. But
how do we go from Kobe to comedy anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
But my whole thing is the thought process of saying people can't be sad is stupid. You're an idiot. Saying they've done nothing for you, they're this, they're that, whatever. Put that on the other side. Put that on the side of people being hateful. Don't put that on the side.
I just think that people come from things from their own lens.
Yes,
he hasn't done anything for you, apparently.
No, yeah, exactly.
Don't tell me what.
100 exactly. So I'm saying take that thought process and put it on the negative side. Don't put it on the positive side. The positive side of feeling somebody's good. If it's giving you negative thoughts and negative connotations and violent connotations, that's when you got to stop thinking, all right, dude, if you died, Kobe wouldn't be sticking up for you on Twitter, so you need to chill. That's what I'm saying. That's all I meant.
Let's
all right.
let's talk about the real reason why we brought this whole conversation up, right? Because this was a tragedy that the majority of us haven't really witnessed, right? As far as sports athletes go, we talked about the Roberto Clemente thing was before our time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Reggie Lewis thing was, but Reggie Lewis isn't a Kobe Bryant. You know?
No.
And overall, this was just extremely sad. The way it happened. The fact that he's on the helicopter with 7 other people, one of them being his 13-year-old daughter. He's got her whole life ahead of her. His wife has a 7-month-old baby at home. Now she's grieving the loss of her husband and her 13-year-old daughter, raising a 7-month-old by herself.
And there were 2 other 13-year-old girls on that helicopter.
Yeah, it is a terrible tragedy. And as you can see, if you're watching the show today, we wanted to pay tribute to Kobe in some way that we could. And we made our background to our show today, a Kobe picture. And we also have a tribute, a little audio clip here that we made kind of in memory of Kobe, some of the, good times of his career and some of the memorable moments in his career. And, things that I can look back on and remember, and I'm sure the guys here as well can do the same and say, wow, I remember that. I remember watching that. I remember listening to that, or whatever the case may have you. So enjoy the next few minutes. I'm going to pull the tribute video up here. Just take a look and listen, and we'll be back with you as soon as it's over. This is two dudes and a mic, a tribute to Kobe Bryant.
I have decided to skip college and my time to NBA.
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
Everyone writing when he first came out, well, he's going to have to bulk up. This guy is 200 pounds. That's 6 foot 6. He is an offensive whiz. He's very talented. He has all pro moves. And when you look at him, you're talking about a young man with range. He can go off the dribble. He can get his shot. And in every place that he worked out, nothing but rage. No one talking about any shortness or a weakness in his game.
Jerry West told me today that greatness lies ahead for this young man. Thought he was going to be absolutely fantastic.
This kid has got it all. Yeah, you get the package, and I think what you like best about him, everyone says that he makes everyone else around him a better player. And he's a winning style guy. We realize that there's a lot to overcome when you come right out of high school. But if anyone has a good chance, this young man is blessed with outstanding offensive skills.
Is there any circumstance that you can envision that would keep you from playing?
Any snipers in the room? We're ready to get it on. Let's go, man.
How good is this kid?
Your turn, Mr. Bryant. What have you got for us this time, Kobe? No. Kobe Bryant puts it in.
Gotta love. This is it, fellas. All year long, man. Champions. Get a look at the dynasty. Ruthless way to put it, but we want to cut that hard out. Pass to O'Neal. Look out again. Nice dish by Kobe Bryant.
Back-to-back titles for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Back to back. It takes two to make right. Go right.
Kobe dribbled right. Kobe. What a slam dunk. Three-peat. Sweet.
That's three. That's the triple right there.
Stops. Spins. Fires. 61 points tonight.
I couldn't even dream of this when I was just no way possible. Looks inside. We did that. Lamar, no easy walk. Make them earn everything. Basketball talent for the Los Angeles Lakers. Such a long sacrifice. The MVP of the finals. Kobe Bryant. Talk trash, motivate you a little bit.
1 second, pulls up from three.
You can't repeat, but you gotta be better. Gotta be tough, stronger. You gotta execute better. It's a mindset. Get into that grimy mode. The opportunity is not something that makes me happy. Take advantage of it. Makes me happy. The buzzer goes off. Not victorious. Thankful for the opportunity. Nope.
and they have done it at the expense of their arch rival from Boston.
Now to the other big news in the world of sports. Basketball superstar Kobe Bryant announcing his retirement last night, saying this season, his 20th in the NBA will be his last.
Guys, it's I can't believe how fast 20 years went by. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And to be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me, and appreciating all this, the journey that we've been on, and all I can do here is just thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the years of support. Thank you guys for all the motivation. Thank you for all the inspiration. And this has been absolutely beautiful, you guys. I can't believe it's come to an end. You guys will always be in my heart, and I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. God, I love you guys. And I love you guys. And what can I say? Mamba out.
That's the tribute to Two Dudes and a Mic to Kobe Bryant. I mean, just listening to that is just sad, man. It's real sad. But
I ruined my day.
It was hard to make a clip short enough for the show that encompassed all that he's accomplished and really defined who he was as a basketball player and a person. But I think there's one line in that whole thing there in particular that really stood out. And it was when he says, I believe it was after the loss to the Celtics in the finals. And he says, I'm supposed to sit here and be thankful for the opportunity. He's like, I'm not thankful for the opportunity. You get the opportunity, you go out and win. And you take advantage of the opportunity. That's what you got to be thankful for.
He had that Jordan Bird Magic killer instinct mentality on the court.
Yeah. To him, being a guy that is thankful for being there is essentially accepting a loss. And he's like, no, I'm thankful for winning it. I'm not thankful for being here. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to understand. And it really is a hard thing to understand. If you have ever competed at a high level, or you've ever, competed, period, you've played sports growing up, you've won championships in your local leagues, whatever it may be. I mean, whatever you did athletically, there's very few people that have that mindset. I mean, there's a lot of people, and I remember just as a fan, I've told people before, I've had this argument with them, and they say, oh, hey, I love the fact that we made the Super Bowl. I'm happy we made it either way. And I've never felt that way. I've always felt like if you make it and don't win, you're the same as the team that didn't make it.
You're the first loser. You're the first loser.
There's no.
I disagree. I've had this conversation. So I disagree with that. I of course, if the game hasn't started yet, we have a game to play to win.
Yeah.
Once it's over, a couple months later, you can look back and you had a really good season. I'd much rather lose a Super Bowl than lose the round before or the round. Every step is part of the journey to me.
Usually it's around draft time is when you start getting over the loss.
Yeah. But of course, on the day of the game, I'm just happy we're here today. No, not at all.
Yeah. So I think it's like this. So like, let's say you're a guy like like my boy for like the Bills, dude. Let's say I'm your way of thinking. I agree with it until maybe. What if you lose like 3 or 4 of those Super Bowls? And then you're like, all right, dude. I'd rather just not make it.
But it just shows you. It just shows you how fierce of a competitor this guy was. It's incredible. Like all the success he's had, and he's like, I don't care that I have been to X amount of championships. I want to win every single one that I go to. And I'm sure any athlete...
This is the first one. He's Bill Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. No, this is the championship. I didn't win 4. This is the one.
I'm sure, like Brady, what's your favorite ring? The next one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sure any athlete would tell you that they want to win the championship, of course. But I don't think every athlete has that same response when they lose. Most people would revert to that generic answer of, you know, it was a great season. You know, we had made a lot of progress and looking forward to next year. And that wasn't him. He's like, no, like this is a failure. I lost. It's a failure.
Kobe taking everybody's shoes is the greatest story I ever heard in my life.
And there's those stories, and there's the stories of him, like, you know, he puts up a game-winning shot, doesn't make it, and everyone else is going home, and he's at the gym for 3 hours shooting that shot 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that differentiate you as an athlete, and that's why Kobe is considered one of the top 5 players of all time, most likely by everybody, because he has that. He has that drive to want to be the best. And in his time, I mean, he was considered the best in the NBA for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
in my book, he's the best since Jordan.
Yeah, and
I think he's the second best player ever,
You think overall, right? Like Jordan passed the torch to Kobe, Kobe passing the torch to LeBron, and it's like there's a different instinct between those guys, and especially between Kobe and LeBron, right? Like LeBron's lost a lot of finals, and he's a great player, but he doesn't have that same Kobe mentality. He doesn't, and
he's probably more physically gifted than both of them. But it's just,
and that's what really, because Kobe, I mean, coming out of high school, you heard it right in the video. There was a lot of knocks on his game, and he was 17, 18 years. He was the first player to play or whatever at that age, like under 18, or I forget what the stat was, but he was like super young.
Oh no, dude, he was like 13, crushing adults in like Italy, bro. He didn't.
The guy had a lot of things going against him, but and to go back to the people that said, you know, he's just a basketball player.
No, he's not. He's not. Just
this guy was an extremely smart guy. 1,200 SAT score. Like, he could have gone to any college he wanted to.
Oh, dude, that just upset me.
You know what I mean? He could have gone to.
Made me think of Ricky and Boys Nut.
Jesus.
My boy was gonna make it.
How many languages did he speak?
My boy was gonna make it. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was
always. He was always trying to grow.
Yeah,
and which is the way it should be. He was always trying to grow.
He was fluent in multiple languages. He was fluent in Italian. He grew up in Italy, and he's like, I just speak Italian. Nasty at soccer.
He spent like 8 years in Italy and learned how to speak Italian. Like, I've spent 20 years with my wife, and I can't speak Portuguese.
He went from
he's just a smart guy.
He loved every sport. I actually didn't take the opportunity, but this past summer I went to the U.S. Open tennis tournament with the Iron Sheik guy.
Weird flex,
we went there and just for the day, New York City, and Kobe was there signing a book he wrote about tennis, and I'm like, Kobe signing a book?
I bet he was nasty at tennis.
And I knew the line to see him was going to take away from the experience of, you know, going out and watching the matches, but you know that you kind of hear what happened. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
They advertised him on the the big screen as, you know, from 12 to 2 he's going to be in the shop signing.
I honestly,
there in New York City.
Just thinking about him playing basketball, he was probably nasty at tennis. He probably was nasty at tennis.
Oh, of course, no doubt about it. He's probably nasty anything he wanted to.
And
be.
it didn't matter what the sport was. He's the kind of guy that if he wanted to be good at it, he would, because he would just do the things that no one else wanted to do.
Yeah.
Sit after the game for 4 hours and shoot the same shot. Like, I loved basketball growing up, but I got sick of shooting hoops out in the like. There was a point where I'd come inside and be like, all right, enough for today. And that wasn't Kobe. Like, you had to drag that guy out of there, and that's what changed. That's why he changed the game, and that's why the outcry is so big, and the sympathy and the empathy for his family, because people feel a connection to this guy that they don't know. They do. And I mean, you can't even. It's countless the number of people that are in the NBA today because of Kobe Bryant.
You're hearing it. I'm shocked. Oh, he knew him. Like,
anyone who says that and believes it, the whole like you shouldn't care thing, you're an asshole. Period. If you say that and you actually believe it, you're an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, we got this is Super Bowl week.
We do got a lot to talk about.
We do have
doesn't feel like Super Bowl week.
No. It doesn't.
But you know what? There's no game at 1, so I mean, we can.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel like football week at all, and we've been off for 2 weeks, so we missed a lot of stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that a story, I mean, a game that is so watched like the Super Bowl could take a back seat.
Yeah.
To Kobe Bryant.
I think it's taken a back seat because we live around here and New England's not in it.
It's a combination.
I was having this conversation too.
Really? I think even out in San Fran it's taken a back seat to the Kobe story. It's got to be.
Oh, the story, but I mean, right now, today.
No, not today.
Being
here
in New England, they're not in it this time.
Like, there's no national news stories this week about the Super Bowl. Like,
no, it's
not as many. No,
not as
big.
No
way.
It's a combination of Kobe, and obviously in this part, the
This part,
Patriots not being in it. It's weirdly different.
Yeah.
This is
impeachment proceedings are taking up a lot of news too. I mean, stuff like that.
Is anybody watching that?
I mean, there's been more talk about where the hell is Brady going.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
That's kind of been a big story.
Brady,
too, yeah.
Breeze, is he going to retire or come back to New Orleans?
No.
There's been more talk about that than it has been about the games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that kind of annoys me. That annoys me with how fans are, because I'm super excited for the Super Bowl. But regardless, Kobe's rightfully overshadowing things for sure, and it stinks. And I think we're gonna move on at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl and the stuff that we missed. If you guys want to recap the AFC Championship game real quick, I'm gonna adjust our background here. So
before we do that,
NFC,
I just want to say again, Kobe and his beautiful daughter weren't the only people on the helicopter that passed away. John Kerry and Alyssa Tabelli.
Mm-hmm. That's the baseball coach and his kids and his wife.
He had Cape Cod connections. Yeah.
Sarah and Peyton Chester. The pilot, Ara Zobayan, and the coach, Christina Mauser. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, everybody. It was terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what were the AFC NFC Championship games like? Because I was on the ship, and the TV access is pretty limited. I mean, I'd have to go down to the casino or a bar or something like that. And
I mean, the Titans came out just like I expected, and we're putting it on.
They are who we
and
thought
then
they were.
I don't know what happened, but
I'll tell you what happened. The second coming of Aaron Rodgers, and his name is Pat Mahomes, came out there and just dragged it all over
that
the
run he had up the sideline,
27 yards.
was the game changing play. The game was not the same after that.
That when you see that happen,
he's winning the game.
It deflates one side and inflates the other. It's just. So, I've been thinking about this recently, and again, I'm obviously not calling him Aaron Rodgers, but just the way he plays. So we go arm strength, accuracy when he's off balance, wild throws, ability to move, but a little bit. But I mean, he ain't Lamar Jackson. He can move, but he's not moving. To me, he is a younger.
MVP
He looks
Lamar
like
Jackson?
he looks like Aaron Rodgers. He looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers to me.
To me, he's a combo of Favre and Rodgers.
Yeah.
The wild throws,
Yeah.
Favre. Accuracy, Rodgers.
Yeah. He'll roll out wide right and then bomb it 60 yards, and it'll be a dime. And it's like, I don't know anyone else who does that. He reminds me a lot of Rodgers, just younger, man. And in every game he plays, especially in the playoffs, I'm like, dude, there could be no doubt. This dude is the real deal.
But the game was very winnable for Tennessee.
Yeah,
even in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
they had two situations where they had a 1st and 5, where Kansas City jumped off sides, made a penalty. Henry ran. I think they had a 2nd and 1. They could not convert second or third and 1 a couple of different times.
so take me through that game because I didn't watch any of that game.
Well, Tennessee jumped
I just
up
saw
on
the
them.
final score.
Tennessee was up 10-0
10-0
and then 17-7. Tennessee
Really?
was up 17-7.
Wow. Same thing like Kansas City against Houston too.
That's exactly what happened.
But you thought with Henry that they would be able to. Again, they had,
it
like I
away.
said, they had a 2nd and 1 2 separate times and couldn't get a first down.
Oh, with
second
Derrick
and
Henry?
1, 2nd and 3rd, and then another time they had 2nd and 1 other possession.
I mean, the guy's freaking long enough to just fall forward and get a first.
But
down.
you know
you
what,
would've
dude?
thought
They
you-
came out playing. They went for Henry. They were like, we're coming to stop you. Tannehill, throw 40,
Oh, yeah.
throw 20
Well,
passes.
I don't know what his
That
stats,
has to be the
but he didn't really I don't think Tannehill played that bad in that game.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is,
Whatever the stats were.
the Chiefs. Let's not get it twisted. The Chiefs have a kind of a weak roster, but where they are
wouldn't-
strong,
yeah,
their front
they're not
seven
that
is
good.
strong though, especially pass rushing. Frank Clark's got the most sacks in the playoffs.
But they're very, very penalty prone.
Yes,
That
they
defense
are.
is very penalty
They
prone
are.
to me.
So, I mean, when they turn the game around and go, "Hey, Tannehill beat us,"
That was the regular season.
What
game.
sucks about saying Tannehill beat us is, hey, Tannehill, what's the best part of our defense? Our pass rush. We're coming for you. So it's like they did what other teams tried to do. They stopped Henry. And you know what, dude? No knock on Henry. I mean, the dude, I'm not saying he was burnt out. I'm sure he was fine. But holy shit, who's done more in an 8-game run in history than he did?
Tanny had his best game of the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause,
Well,
I mean,
No, I don't know.
certainly
I don't know where those
statistically.
stats come into play. I mean, some were late, some were you know what I mean. But
statistically,
still,
yeah. Because I mean, he had
Oh, he threw a touchdown to put him up 17-7.
early. Yes, he threw the
He
17.
had most of the yards early.
in the
He
two
did
previous
well.
games, he hadn't thrown for over 100 yards.
Yeah, but he made the key plays.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
It's the Jimmy G.
But statistically, he had his best game.
Yeah.
He didn't play bad. It almost seemed like in the second half, Kansas City had the ball the whole half.
Yeah,
it really did. Like Tennessee didn't seem to have any possessions because they kept going 3 and out on the run.
Kansas City did what the Titans have done the 2 previous games. They came into the game and willed themselves to victory. It wasn't that Tanny played bad. It was that Mahomes and the Chiefs came in and were like, "Oh no, you don't understand. We've decided we've won," and then they did. It's what the Titans did 2 weeks in a row, and they just couldn't do it a third. That's all. I mean,
you got to beat the Titans, and no one was able to do it up until now. Was keep Derrick Henry at bay, and he had 69 yards rushing.
I think the Titans should have had some more RPO in there. Tanny running a little bit.
Yeah,
because he's a good athlete and he can run, and they 3 for 11.
It's the same with the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Like, listen, we're not dogging your arms, guys, but it's just like you clearly have a skill set. So why not use it?
I'm just saying a little bit more than 3. Like, how about 6 or 7 design runs?
100%. Dude, he played receiver his entire college career. Why the hell is this dude's legs not being utilized? Do something with him. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely. No, you're right.
I got to watch
This was far less of a disappointing game than the Packers game.
Oh, Lord,
I watched the end of the third, beginning of the fourth of that one. The Packers.
I'm pumped that we're talking about football now.
Packers, Chiefs, and it was like ugly. It was like 20-something to 7 or something.
It was ugly from the
28-7 or it was a lot to a little. Put it that way. And I was like, oh, this game's over. And I remember sitting at the casino bar, and I was sitting there with a bunch of Chicago Bear fans who were from Chicago, and they were like excited as hell that the 49ers were stomping Green Bay.
So that game, like I said, Mike Pettin made 0 adjustments. All they did was run after emotion and end arounds and things like that. Pettin did nothing to stop it. Came out in halftime and he pulled Jason Garrett. Did the same shit. LaFleur's offense was red. I wish I saw more Aaron Rodgers improvisation in this game, because everything LaFleur Rodgers would put every ball on point, and then the minute the ball got to the receiver's hands, they were cracked. They knew where the ball was going every time. Rodgers didn't play. Rodgers threw one bad ball in the whole game, and it was the one that got picked. And it wasn't even really a bad ball. It looked horrible because it was a wide open pick, but you clearly see he didn't miss the defender. He knew the defender was there. The throw lost him. He lost it a little bit. It was a guy up the seam. It's Geronimo Allison, for Christ's sake. So what do you expect? Up the seam. He didn't get there quite fast enough, and that's the ball that got picked off by Rodgers. So Rodgers didn't play bad. The offensive play call seems like it was figured out. And then again, defense, 0 adjustment by Pettin. When I say the most substanceless rushing game I've ever seen in my life from Mostert, I mean it. This dude had a record-breaking day. What do you have? 5 touchdowns?
Was it?
4 or 5, maybe 6 touchdowns, and he had almost 300 yards rushing, almost. And not one part of it made me go, okay. I didn't even look up for that. I was like, okay, it's trash. You're not a good running back. It meant nothing to me. It was like, dude, your blocking scheme from, the 2 best rushing minds of the last 2-3 decades, the Shanahans.
Yeah,
it's wild. Like, there's no chance they were going to stop it, like, without defensive adjustments, which they didn't do. They neutralized the best players on that defense, which were the pass rushers, by getting them out wide and running right up the middle on them. Mostert was running through holes the size of this table, dude. Like, he didn't break a tackle the entire game. He just 40 yards, 30 yards, 20 yards, 80 yards, just constantly over and over. It's like he did nothing. He literally just got paid to run in practice. It meant like it wasn't something to be remembered. If you're a Niners fan, this isn't even on your list of memorable things in your bank for me, because it was a garbage rushing performance, all things considered. He did nothing to achieve that 200-something yards.
Yeah, 29 carries, 220 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was gross. It was
4 touchdowns.
But he really had nothing to do with it. Any of the running backs they threw in could have did it. Literally, Breida could have went in and did the same thing.
They mix and match.
Coleman,
Coleman was doing fine, but he hurt himself.
Yeah, he did.
So
hurt his shoulder.
Rodgers threw 2 picks though.
He
threw one late that Sherman got into double coverage. It was real late.
The game was over. The game was done, and it was a Hail Mary attempt.
Yeah,
I
think he had one in the first half, one in the second half.
Yeah.
Jimmy G was pretty instrumental. 6 of 8, 77 yards.
Dude, Jimmy.
Those stats don't matter.
Oh no,
though.
I'm gonna trash Jimmy G this game for
7
the love of
attempts.
Tannehill. I'm gonna trash him for the love of Tannehill.
7 attempts.
I'm not gonna trash him because that's a similar guy.
I know you're not, but I'm gonna do it for the love of Tannehill. But yeah, so Raheem Mostert, gross. You'll probably be off the roster next year.
I mean, who's gonna throw the ball if you're getting those kind of rushing numbers?
No,
who's gonna put the ball in jeopardy?
The Cowboys,
up 27-0,
right? Because they're idiots.
Well, yeah, Cowboys.
But here's the thing: Jimmy G's gotten zero flack throughout the playoffs. Zero.
What flack is he going to get?
Well, Tannehill's been getting trashed. He's doing nothing. He's riding the while he's just sitting there. It's like, no, they're playing. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing. If you watch these games,
I haven't heard Tannehill get that much. I mean, yeah, here and there, there's pockets of people, but not that much.
It's like my thing is like, dude, Jimmy G's doing nothing different. He's doing, if anything. But I've seen Jimmy G. I think Tannehill made more instrumental throws in the few throws he had.
Well, Tannehill had a better year than Jimmy G to me overall.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
of course, sure.
But that doesn't mean Jimmy G can't do it.
No,
I'm
no.
not saying he can, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure he can.
It's not that he can't, but I will say this. He hasn't shown that he can yet in this playoffs. If the Chiefs shut down this rushing attack, which they're not built to do, unfortunately,
not all that misdirection.
They're really not built to do it. And it goes up to Garoppolo. Listen, I remember watching Garoppolo in the Vikings game. He was throwing picks he threw a pick to Kendricks that was nobody was there.
Yeah.
And then what did they do? They ran 12 straight run plays in a row after that. Why? Because they want to get the ball out of his hands.
Jimmy G's about to be a 2-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
3 times. That's
I'm
right.
saying he was backups for 2014 and 2016.
That's right.
Seattle and Atlanta.
3-time Super Bowl champion.
Let's put him ahead of Peyton.
He's already better than Marino.
Works,
He's already better than Marino. I mean, that's
everybody is. Everybody's at least equal that's ever played the game.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
So, but Tannehill was getting flack, and he shouldn't because Garoppolo's had the exact same playoff stats.
You're doing what you asked to do.
Nothing's been different. Nothing's been different.
Do what you asked to do.
The only difference is this. I've actually seen, like I said, the Vikings game. I've seen Jimmy make a dumb, boneheaded mistake that could have turned the game, and then the minute they get the ball back, they didn't give him the ball again. They we're running 12 times in a row, and they did it. With Tannehill, they've gone run. Hey, we're throwing it in the end zone on 3rd down right now. They haven't done that with Jimmy G once. One time. He's done nothing.
He could have a good game today.
Could be keeping the ace in the pocket.
Right.
We'll see.
I would be not surprised if Jimmy G plays a great game today.
But for the love of the comeback player of the year, I'm just trying to call it like I see it.
Jimmy G is going to win his 3rd Super Bowl, and he's going to get Super Bowl MVP.
That's not a hot take.
Super Bowl MVP?
That's not a hot take either. No,
you just told me he had 60 yards passing.
Here's why it's not a hot take.
77.
James White on a 4-touchdown performance didn't win the goddamn MVP, and he should have. In a game, he outperformed Brady.
3 touchdowns.
True.
3. I'm sorry, he outperformed Brady that game. He didn't get the MVP.
Can we change?
Quarterbacks get it, dog.
Whenever we talk about quarterbacks, instead of saying like Brady won 6, can we just say this so and so was a member of 6 championship winning teams? Can that be? Can I set that trend from now on for everybody? Every analyst.
It's not going to work.
Not for everybody.
He's a member of a 53.
Some people are instrumental. It wouldn't work for Jimmy G. Was instrumental.
Doesn't mean he did it alone. He didn't play tennis.
No. But Jimmy G wasn't instrumental in anything. I said this last night. I said Carson Wentz shouldn't even have a ring. If you're a QB and you're a backup, you don't deserve a ring. You did nothing. You didn't play. You did nothing.
They give a ring to the guy that gets traded.
They play against the
right?
offense, right?
Yeah.
The backup plays against the offense in the practice.
Right. Yeah.
So this is what I say about rings. Rings should be a pitch count. You have to play a certain amount of reps in the Super Bowl to get
to get a letter.
So the regular season doesn't count. When Wentz went out, they were 11-2.
Wait, when Wentz went out?
Yeah.
What he's saying is Wentz was balling that year.
But how many times? How many times does Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan and other quarterbacks? Hey, they get them there. They're amazing seasons, and then they're the instrumental reason in why they shit the bed in the playoffs. We've seen that tons of times.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter,
they might not have won if Wentz played.
The fact of the matter is this:
he's on the team.
Nick Foles won the game. He did so historically.
Who?
Nick Foles, baby.
What's his name?
Big Dick.
Yeah.
Old Big Dick.
Big Dick Nick.
And then since he left. With the same roster, what did Wentz do? I mean, yeah, they were depleted by injury, but so was Foles.
Take his ring.
I mean, like 0-1, for example. Patriots aren't going to the Super Bowl if Drew Bledsoe's not backing up Tom Brady in Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game.
No doubt.
Up 7-3.
Oh, fair. But Drew Bledsoe's a Ring of Honor kind of player to the Patriots. He might be, dude. He's
a Patriots Hall of Famer.
What is he? What is he? If he played 20 years prior to when he played, he would have been in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Because he's your pure classic drop back passer like Marino.
The only reason why he wasn't, stats hold him out because he played in a time where guys he played with got a little bit more. But if he played 20 years prior and was the same guy, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. Wentz is not that yet. Garoppolo's not that. That
about
point
to
I
match
100%
Troy
agree
Aikman
with.
for the
Drew
rings right
Bledsoe was 100% a respected and great quarterback.
He's gonna pass him
for sure. Bledsoe, my Patriot pop to get for my football collection. Drew Bledsoe.
I have it. I have it.
Right.
Same here.
I got a question. This was posed on NFL Network this morning. I want to ask you guys: can Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes become the next Belichick Brady?
Hold up. Whenever you start a sentence with "can," the answer is yes.
Oh God!
Dude, I hate you.
It's so goddamn literal.
You know what
So
you
the question
are?
has to be
You
will.
know what you are? You're my third grade teacher who was like, you could be whatever you want.
Isn't it true though? Hey, isn't it true?
No, it's not.
Can Andy Reid?
It's
How can you say
grammatically
no?
it's grammatically true. Do you ever tell people
It's not
when
true.
people say, "Can I use the bathroom?" Do you say, "I don't know, can you?"
Yeah, may I? If you're asking.
Well, here's the
It's
thing.
not
I
true.
love Mike Gomes.
Andy Reid is
What's the question, though?
61.
What was the question?
So he's up there in age.
Yeah,
If
he
you're,
could- I mean,
if
if
you're
he
thinking
coached.
about
Could they be the next Brady Belichick?
but he
stretched out,
if you think about
dynasty.
if you think about if you think about Andy Reid, right? He's last year he essentially got robbed because he would have
You're right.
not robbed because it was his own player's fault. But
well, he got robbed.
Patrick
The player
Mahomes
did it.
Patrick Mahomes won that game. Brady lost that game. And D Ford
Gave
bailed
it
him
back.
out.
Yeah.
So if Andy Reid's in the Super Bowl last year,
Maybe he wins.
he's got a 50-50 shot.
Okay,
I'll say this:
that
with
is
how
true,
the
but
Rams
they're-
played, shit.
back
Maybe he
this
wins.
year.
That is true, but if the Chiefs don't get all those calls in Foxborough, their road to the Super Bowl this year not quite the same either. Maybe
Right.
they don't get
True,
there.
yeah,
And you know,
but also
that's-
too,
there's a lot.
that was on the final drive to tie it, the D Ford offsides, and then the overtime drive where Brady converts 3 3rd and 10s, which was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's one of those things that I brought up before.
Absolutely.
It's one of those
But
things that I brought up
Brady
before.
threw a pick to end the game.
I know,
against
I
the
know.
Colts.
It would have been a
He
pick.
did.
It would have been a
He
pick
did.
six.
Yeah,
because
it
dude was
would've.
gone. But it's one of those things I've said before where it's like the game shouldn't have gone extra. Fate had it settled one way and someone changed it. But at the end of the day, it did go extra, and like Breeze didn't in the
Yeah,
Rams game,
you're extra.
Brady did. So like Brady did do what he had to do to win with the time that was given. That's what it is.
So
I hate-
what was
I
that-
hate-
Reid
those
and
comparisons.
Mahomes, you're on.
I
Will they become
No.
the next?
No.
No. Will they?
No.
No. Can they? That was
it's a stupid thing because Mahomes.
I don't think we'll ever
second
see that
youngest
again.
quarterback
I don't
to
think
get
we'll
to the
ever see that
Super Bowl.
again. No.
Well, guess who was the youngest? This guy right here was the youngest ever to play in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He never went back.
This guy, you got to lift him up now and
Yeah.
put him in the camera.
Yeah.
Drew is 24 too.
And he never went
Almost
back.
25.
And he had Don Shula as head coach.
Yeah.
So who would have said that? No, they'll never get back, right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
at that time, like, there's no way to know.
The easy answer to this is no, and it's because
It's no.
Mahomes, even though Andy Reid's a great coach, Mahomes doesn't have the infrastructure that Brady had with the Pats. The Pats organization was built all around Brady to win those games.
Yeah, this
Brady and Bill were pieces of other great people. Like McDaniel's part of that puzzle. There are things in there that all Andy Reid doesn't have those other things.
Yeah, the Patriots
He doesn't
seem
have
to-
the owner that's going to give him all say. He doesn't have. There's a lot of things that go into it. That
For the
that built
Patriots
that team.
dynasty,
gonna
it
win
seemed
that.
like it was just like the square peg fit in the square hole for every single situation that they brought in Belichick, and then Brady came along, and then all of a sudden McDaniels was a perfect fit. They had Scarnecchia in position who was doing a great job, and like
Over 30 years. yeah.
everyone kind of just fell into place
Well,
at the right
first
time.
they were
was-
about to fire Belichick.
Well, first
before,
there was-
before Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah.
It's fact. They were going to fire him.
He was 5 and
So they
13
didn't
before
do
Brady
shit.
took over. And then, of course, well below 500 in Cleveland.
Yeah, he was 5 and
5
11,
years.
0 and 2, and then Brady gets hurt. I mean, Bledsoe gets hurt.
But also, too, in the beginning there, you had Charlie Weiss at offense coordinator and Romeo Crennel.
Yeah, there's been such a good lineage of coaches that have just gone through there and kind of, even when they lose one, it's just like the next guy steps up. You know what I mean? And they've been fortunate enough to have that.
Yeah.
And that's where you see.
And
the
when
tenure.
you win, everybody wants your guys.
Yeah.
They're part of a winning culture. They know what it's like, what it takes.
And
those
we
kind
know
of quotes,
we know that
so
the majority
it's
of them end up turning out to nothings outside of New England.
Yeah,
but
Crennel failed in
as a head
Cleveland.
coach. As a head coach,
it seems
After
like
being the
it
defense
seems,
coordinator here.
it
So
seems
many
like
guys.
Brian Flores is right now on his way to doing good.
well, I mean, let's not forget
Bill.
Bill O'Brien. Yes, he hasn't won
He's-
anything, but he's
yeah.
got a winning
He's
record as
been
a
at
head
least
coach. You know what I mean?
successful.
He's been the
won
most
games.
successful out of the
Yeah. He's the-
Belichick tree.
He's the like
He's okay.
2 times shittier than Andy Reid guy, kind of.
Andy Reid's a very good coach.
I know.
dude.
I'm just saying.
He is a good coach.
Andy Reid has that reputation of being a great coach, but never being able to win the big game.
Yeah.
Like he's been to like 6 or 5 NFC.
But
AFC
I'll say this
championship
though.
games,
But I'll say
one
this
Super
though.
Bowl.
But I'll say this though.
Yeah,
He's
one Super Bowl.
This is the best QB he's ever
but-
had, hands
So-
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
So that's a
Without
thing
doubt.
too. Like the Chiefs were trying to win playoff games with great teams a few years back with Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Alex Smith's Alex Smith.
Andy
Like, he is what he is.
Reid's trying to take on the dynasty that we just discussed with Donovan McNabb. You know what I mean?
It's just a perception people have. It's like his teams haven't won the Super Bowl or they haven't won this and that.
Yeah.
But the divisional rounds weren't big games
Yeah,
that he won
yeah,
every
yeah.
year. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? This idea that he
No,
can't win
facts,
is
facts.
just whatever.
No, you gave him a quarterback, and what did he do with it? I mean, he was in the Super Bowl.
It's getting over that hump, just like Elway. Getting over that hump.
And I don't. And no
but it
trash
wasn't really
talk.
Elway, right? It was now we have because when
Terrell
Elway
Davis, Shannon Sharp, Rod Smith,
exactly
Ed McCaffrey.
Elway was
Shanahan.
Elway
Really
was
good
at
defense. Shanahan.
Mike
Elway was at
Shanahan.
the end of his career. Elway should have won 0. I mean, really, right?
Yeah.
He was at the end of his career. He was a shell of the Elway that was leading teams basically to the Super Bowl earlier. It's just the way it goes. It's the perception people have of these guys winning
The
championships.
thing that I'm looking forward to in this Super Bowl is that whoever wins, Chiefs or Niners, right? It's a good story because the Niners were 4-12 last year.
Yeah.
John
Gives
Lynch.
you hope.
John Lynch comes in a couple of years ago. Starts making great moves. You can start seeing the roster form. Last year, they're like, "Oh, the 49ers are going to be a great team." They're 4-12. You're like, "Wow!" Like they were so stacked. Then this year, they make a trade for Emmanuel Sanders. They bolster their offense. I mean, Shanahan's been unbelievable, and they're in a position now to go from 4-12 to Super Bowl champions. On the other token, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, who, like we just talked about, Andy Reid, kind of gets that heat all the time that he can't get to the game. And here he is now in the game. And he's been in a position every year to kind of get there. And it's like he's always just an inch away. And now he's there. And one of these two coaches is going to win their first Super Bowl. And one of these two quarterbacks is going to win their first Super Bowl as a starter. I mean, there's so many things that are like exciting about this game that even if you're not a fan of either team,
I want Mahomes to win so I can see certain people just explode.
You got another story of the great offense of the Chiefs against the great defense of the 49ers. You know what I mean? It's like you have those rituals of football going on. Like you got the great defense against the great offense, and it's exciting. I mean, I'm not a fan of either team, and I wouldn't feel some type of way about either team winning. I could care less who wins this game.
You just want to watch
It's just an exciting game to watch from an outside standpoint because it's not the same guy winning again. Like we've seen Brady so many times and Belichick so many times. It kind of waters down the Super Bowl to you after a while if you're not a fan.
Yeah,
of that team,
except
you know
for
what I mean?
I'm sure it wouldn't.
Yeah,
be.
Well, it dropped the conference championship ratings.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, it's you're either cheering for the Patriots or everybody else tune in to root against them. These guys, it's like, all right, at least it's somebody new.
But for the most part, if you're not a Patriots fan, it waters down the Super Bowl. Seeing them every single year. It's the same thing with basketball too. Like you know what I mean? You've seen the Golden State Warriors, okay, Golden State and LeBron again, 8th year in a row.
This is what makes the NFL to me better than the NBA. As much as I love basketball, it's that you only got 4 or 5 teams that can win NBA at most. With NFL, look, 4-12, here they are.
Yeah,
yeah. Kansas City was a favorite, but here they are.
1 year turnaround.
I mean, we're picking,
and we saw this happen only a couple times before. It happened with the 2001 Rams, right? With Kurt Warner, they were 4-12, I think, too. And then the next
99 Rams.
Yeah, 99.
Oh, one they lost to us.
This would be like the Hornets making a run to the finals next year.
2000 they lost in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marshall Faulk was the MVP that year.
I'm not going to question them.
They win in 03?
No, the Rams.
They won 99 and
they won in
lost
99.
To us in 01.
Yeah. I'm having a stroke. Don't worry about me.
But the same story with the Rams. You know what I mean? They another team. This is unique about the NFL is you can turn around an organization in very short time.
Oh yeah.
And and a lot of it doesn't even have to do with personnel or roster. It's just a mindset and a winning mentality. Like football is the biggest sport for that.
You're right.
Risk-taking.
So no excuses, Finns. I expect you to be the Super Bowl.
Football is the biggest sport for that. Like the whole winning attitude and momentum and how you approach the game really does matter.
Yeah, it's true.
It really does
in basketball, momentum is almost non-existent because there's so many up and down the court plays throughout the game that it's like, what the hell is momentum?
There's a game of runs, but it's everybody gets runs.
Yes, there's momentum, but it's short bursts of momentum. Like we know, okay, they're gonna go on a 12-0 run, but we're gonna have a 16-0 run.
Exactly.
In football, football, it doesn't happen.
Oh, I went on a 12-0 run?
Very
Okay, you
rarely.
lost the game then.
It does,
That's what happens in football.
It does happen. Obviously, we saw it happen with the Chiefs and the Houston Texans a few weeks ago, where it was 28-0, and then the Chiefs win the game and they score 7 points the rest. I mean, it happens, but it's very few and far between. Like
especially in the Super Bowl.
This Niners team has been the team all season long.
Absolutely.
That's been dominating all season long. And the Chiefs team was kind of there, but they weren't. Like, it was the Ravens, right?
We expected
them to be in the mix, for sure.
Yeah.
We expected them probably to an AFC Championship game, but everyone's like Ravens.
I had them in the Super Bowl, just not against the Niners.
But I think Kansas City was like maybe 6-4 or 7-4
in the preseason. In the
at one
preseason,
point.
I had Patriots Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Before the playoffs started, I actually had Chiefs Niners.
I had Chiefs Saints.
I had Chiefs Bears to start the year.
I had Saints. I had
halfway 50. I got a 50.
I had Bears.
Did you have Chiefs? That's what I had. Bears Chiefs.
Who did I have?
But I had the Bears winning. So.
I think I did have Bears Chiefs. I did have Bears.
All right,
Chiefs.
we had that. So we at least got that Chiefs part right.
I got half of it right. 50.
Yeah, that's not
50%.
bad when you're picking Super Bowl team.
You almost won that bet, by the way, the AFC Championship bet.
By the way, I'm number one in the pick'ems.
Because I couldn't pick the freaking championship games because I was on a cruise ship.
No, I was ahead of you before the championship game. I was up a game before the championship game.
No, we had the same record before the
It
championship.
said first. I don't, maybe, but it said okay. I'm sorry. I don't know how it works. It did say first.
It just puts a random
Would it say
person.
you're first on your screen? Like on
No,
your screen, did it say you're first?
No, but it just puts a random person first. Because last time I had the same record as you, I
Okay,
was first.
okay.
It's like it just doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, you won because I forgot to pick. And you probably were going to win anyway because I think you were up one game. Or whatever.
I forgot maybe twice this year to pick, which pissed me off.
Yeah,
I did it once or twice too. But it was a good time to pick 'em league anyway. Mike's got to take it a little more seriously next time, though.
I'm in 50 million. I'm in 4 fantasy leagues. I do the Paul's pick.
He said, "Dude, I'm good with your little league, bro."
Hey, next year,
There's no money in it. I'm not in.
Yeah, next year we'll do like some short, like $10.
You put $10, I'm all in.
$20, like
$10, I will ruin your life.
Let's
I will be studying even harder.
There's another. Let's before we get into this topic because we got like 20 minutes left. And it's
we have
gonna
as
take
much time as we want, guys.
We do, I guess, but people want to go on this, and
they can go. Let them
I'm
go.
hungry.
Let's
Let's
have fun. We're having fun. Let's do us.
And I'm hungry.
I will trash that stupid Puerto Rican Aaron Hernandez at some point today. You best believe it.
I'm hungry.
Best believe it. It's happening.
Also, a quick news
Hernandez,
note from
get that in.
NFL.com. According to Ian Rappaport, sources say that the Patriots are willing to pay Brady $30 million.
Good
Really?
move. Go for it. Pay that man. Get him his money.
If they pay him 30, he's staying.
I want him to stay. Pay that man his money.
I don't.
Give him the money.
I
wanna
would
see him
rather
play
see
somewhere
it
else.
be kind of like the Breeze deal because you have that $13 million cap hit, 2-year deal, and split the 6 for 2 years each with the dead cap hit. So it'll be 31 technically total.
That's going to be interesting. There's been so many like cryptic posts with him. He's kind of pissing me off.
I don't care. It's his Instagram. He can do whatever he wants.
I know, but he's
just like same with mine.
He's
I can do
doing
whatever I want.
doing what LeBron did in was it 08?
I don't care
It's
where
just
you go.
What, the
pissing me off.
decision?
Like,
2010?
dude, yeah,
anyway.
dude, just stop
That's how
with
I
this.
feel
Like,
about him.
just say what you mean. Like he posted a picture like walking out of the stadium, walking into the stadium, whatever the hell it was. You can't tell if it's the front of his face or the back of his face.
No,
I
you
don't know.
can't.
So
Same thing.
So he posts that, and it's like then there's rumors he's in Tennessee, which were confirmed. He was in Tennessee. So I have a friend that posted a screenshot of a conversation that she had with someone who works for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh no!
And the Tennessee guy said, "Hey, Brady was here today."
So
First
people,
of all,
people were trying to
she
refute.
shouldn't be saying that. And second of all, you
Right,
probably shouldn't be
tampering.
saying that on here.
Why?
That's probably something violation for them. For
What,
that guy
legal
telling her that.
tampering?
Well, guess what?
you know how good that would be for this show?
Yeah, are you
if
serious?
they get a violation for
Hey,
tampering.
if
based
our
on two
audio
dudes and a
segment
mic
gets
and show?
yeah, exactly.
Quadruple party tampering.
Holy
You're about to make this dude lose his job so we can get a like, you son of a bitch.
It's Tom Brady. You
The
think I
world
care if he
lies.
gets a suspension over two dudes?
No,
in a
I
mic?
mean the guy who
The
told her.
Tennessee
I mean the
Titans
guy who
will
works
get
for
the
the
violation.
Titans. The guy who works for the Titans.
Oh, he can get fired too. I don't care.
Well, yeah, the organization would be penalized, not Brady.
Yeah, not that guy. Oh, he'd get fired because of the organization. so anyway, everyone was trying to refute that. Like, oh, he wasn't in Tennessee. That's bullshit. It's a lie. That was debunked. It wasn't debunked. I mean, unless this dude from the Titans is lying, but what would he doesn't know that's going to get screenshotted.
I don't know.
And
You
posted.
said it was a she. Maybe he was trying to get nudes from this chick, and he's like, "Oh, man, Brady was here today."
Who cares
Send
if he
nudes.
was?
Send nudes. Hey, listen. Hey, Brady was here. Send nudes. Show
Who
me that
cares if he was in
TV12.
Tennessee? Though.
Hey, you're
Yes.
the only 10 I see.
It's
Oh, here we
tampering.
go.
It's only tampering because it's like a few weeks before the
Yeah, if he met
period.
with the team, yeah,
Middle
no
of March.
question. But I mean,
Vrabel's a friend of his. He could have just went out for lunch with Vrabel. Like, there's no way to even prove the tampering, really. I mean,
All right, let's stop saying tampering. We're saying it a lot.
right, they can hire him to serve sessions. Can't they?
Are you afraid to accidentally say tampon?
Wow, dude, Mike is out of pocket. Give me your pockets. Let me hold them. Out of pocket.
Keys.
The downloads in this show will skyrocket if this show gets credit for.
Dude, we're about to become
TMZ.
We're about to become TMZ,
right? Fact. But anyway, yeah. So he's been annoying with that, like the whole LeBron James, like, I want to take my talents too. Oh, stand by. I'll let you know. I don't know. Like, that's what Brady's doing with all his stupid posts.
It's stupid because he can't decide that till March. It's Super Bowl week. You got the Kobe stuff.
There's so many corny things too. Like he took down the mural on TB12 outside of Patriot Place.
Yep.
Like, it was there since it opened. He took it down. It's like, it's so corny.
For stuff like that, you just shouldn't go. If you go back, you're an idiot. Because why are you doing stuff like that and then go back to the
come
team?
on,
Doesn't
man.
make any sense.
You're a 20-year veteran of the league, and you're by most people considered the greatest quarterback of all time. And you just, why are you doing these things? I just don't get it. It was childish.
I guess he's just trying to.
I know Mike hated the LeBron decision. But
I did.
But he's refusing to accept the fact that this is very close to it.
I think it's worse.
A post?
It's multiple, though.
It's multiple.
I'll tell you this. He didn't fill a stadium. He didn't fill a stadium into it. You're right. I agree with you.
It's not taking an hour out of your damn time to tune in with him with freaking Jim Gray.
Yeah, but at
Jim Gray,
least at the end of that, he told you what he was doing.
That wicked pissed me off.
This guy, he can't tell you to much.
Scroll.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Same with the TV, though. Click the button.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he answered it at the end, and he told you where he was going.
Let's spend some time talking about Aaron Hernandez documentary.
Oh, let's please do.
I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch this a second. I'm gonna watch this. You didn't watch it.
I don't need to watch it. I was a part of it. I was in it.
I was a part of it.
I was in it.
He was that guy with the semi-pro guy.
I'm
the Odin Lloyd's buddy. That was him, same age.
Dude, my team.
Michael Massey, is that his name?
My team was in it.
My
team was in the documentary.
Hey,
listen, the Boston Bandits.
No, the Clippers.
Listen, let's preface. Yeah, they were.
They were. I didn't see that.
Let's preface this conversation.
I was on the team. They were
Shut up. Let's preface this conversation by saying
how about
that three out of the 4 of us in this show watched it. And we're gonna bring valued, educated opinions based on what we watched, and then one guy didn't watch it but still wants to weigh in on this.
Well, you could give.
You don't need to watch it. There's only one explanation. He's a piece of shit. Period. That's it. That's the only explanation. You could give this
disclaimer on every topic.
He's a piece of shit, dude.
Just start the show with that.
Especially NBA.
He's already given his take. He's a piece of shit. Great take. Now can we give?
No, because I can, without watching it, I can refute the entire everything that's come out in social media that people are saying is wrong. All the holes they've poked in the documentary. I can poke holes back. All
right, so let's talk about the documentary itself, and go over what it basically covered and what it.
I refuse to watch it.
What the premise of the documentary was. I mean, whenever you see these documentaries, I always take them with a grain of salt, because work in my profession, I kind of understand what they're trying to do with the back door, like
insurance.
No. So yeah, so they try to humanize this guy in this documentary.
He is human.
Well, he was. Now he's dead.
He's inhuman.
But they try to make him seem like he was a guy, and I'm really curious to see how Mike feels about this, because I know he's always like very psychology based and very like very positive and very like focused on change and people can change type thing. So they made Aaron Hernandez really seem like a regular guy who had a few bad experiences in his life with his family and his mom and his father being violent and all this fame that kind of rose quickly. And
was his mom or dad Puerto Rican?
Both, I think.
Wow, you had a violent Puerto Rican father? Dude,
I think
what
it was
a story.
I think it was the father.
The father. A violent Puerto Rican father?
Didn't look
Jared, what's that like?
So they try to make it seem like this is kind of like the perfect storm for him, that kind of like just something snaps and he just becomes a serial killer, basically. And they try to tie it to the homophobic stuff that he did. I mean, not homophobic, but homosexual relationships that he had. And
Homosexual Skip. I'm sorry.
His
because his name's Shannon don't mean he's
I can't.
homosexual.
No, that was just so funny.
that and his just his positions as far as like having all this fame at 15, 16 years old, you know, having no consequences going to play for the Florida Gators, where it's kind of like a closed shell community where they're like, all right, hey, this guy's a superstar football player. And he punched you in the face, but he didn't punch you in the face, right?
You know, my aunt and uncle are season ticket holders at the Gators
Really?
since 1979. My uncle down there, so
Nice.
I've gone down. There's a
It's
lot
like that?
about that part of the film that I was really
Aaron
watching.
Hernandez kill anyone in your family?
So is that true?
No.
Is it
Thank God.
is it like that? Is it actually like that? Like
Yeah,
they're very
it's a-
protective of their
It's a
players?
small college town,
Yeah.
and I mean they're more pro Gators than people are pro Patriots and stuff here. It's on another level.
Really?
But
So if a Gator
it's
did
not
something
close.
bad, they'd cover it up.
Well,
Yeah, they
that's-
did a lot with Urban Meyer.
If you
down
watch,
there. I mean,
if you
they did a
watch
lot.
the documentary,
That was-
I know
that was
all
the
this
premise.
shit, dude. We can read news and do research. I know
that
all
was
this
the
works.
part I was most interested in. The whole
Yeah.
thing was that segment from transitioning from Bristol.
I knew about
Connecticut
Tebow.
down
I knew about Tebow paying shit off before the documentary.
So
Yeah, it's
not
so
new.
they basically that was the whole like premise behind the documentary, was to explain his life and how difficult it was essentially being, because he was really young. Like he was in the gate. He was one of
Like
the Florida
17,
Gators. He was younger, I think, like
Yeah.
17.
16 or 17, because he was like actually a pretty smart dude, I guess, in school and stuff. But the thing that really, if you look past that stuff, like I try to look past that stuff, because you can get a very like one track mind doing what I do, and
Insurance.
yeah. And it's easy to kind of write people like Aaron Hernandez off as a piece of shit, like this, like he said.
Yeah, it's very easy. Let's do it.
And I'll save my opinion for the end, but I watched it. I watched the entire in its entirety, all in one night, 3 episodes in a row, bang, done. And
It was hard not to do it that way.
I thought,
Once you got rolling, I mean, I was late at night and I had to work.
When
but
something's like that,
I was rolling.
I
with
did.
that.
I did think that they tried to oversell you on that point, that he was like just a normal kid that had his life ruined by his parents, and because I've always, and we've talked about this on this show, I've always come to the thought process that you are your own person and ultimately you make your own decisions, and you should be able to differentiate what's right and what's wrong at 16 years old.
Unless you're a sociopath.
So in the documentary, he lives with his mom and his dad. His dad passes away.
Did you get the feeling that he couldn't differentiate it though?
Yeah,
I didn't necessarily.
As an adult,
Yeah,
I do,
I
because
did.
like
You
did?
the smiling in the courtroom, clearly how easy it was for him to kill people. Like, yeah, it seemed like
I did not.
Maybe he just
Yeah,
didn't.
no
like, he's just like, oh yeah, this is
Not
normal.
necessarily the actual fact that he was a murderer,
Mhm.
but the fact that, like, early on, differentiate, like, just because I play football and I'm popular and I play for the Gators doesn't make it okay to punch a bartender in the face because he
yeah.
asks me to pay my bill.
Yeah.
I think he really couldn't differentiate those things. He really
no
thought
way I know,
that, well, who is this guy to ask me to pay my bill? I'm Aaron Hernandez. I play for the Florida Gators. And I think he really believed that. And that led to the, who is this guy to spill a drink on me in the Boston nightclub? I'm Aaron Hernandez, and shoot him at the
No,
stoplight.
there was definitely entitled thinking. As far
so-
as whether
so-
he felt like it's right or wrong. I
So
don't
he
know.
lives with his mom and dad. His dad is like a violent, abusive guy, beats up his mom, beats up the kids, whatever.
Boo-hoo.
The dad
out of the,
dies.
Out of the whole story, for me, it was really weird because they seemed to hit you over the head with the dad was a great guy. They kept on. I felt like the first hour or whatever it was of that film, this guy's a great guy. Every anecdote, it's can you tell me what was good about him? If you're going to tell me this is your first paragraph that this guy was great, Dennis Hernandez.
Great, or is he beating up kids?
Every anecdote you gave was something really bad about him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
But you beat us with that part of the story.
because I think they were trying to really sell you on how great of a relationship he had with Aaron.
No, he
that was
didn't.
the
He
thing.
couldn't talk to his father.
No, he felt like he couldn't talk to him, but I think Aaron like admired him, and
Yeah, he did.
and he looked up to him, and kind of he was like the reason why Aaron was this like tough, macho, like bravado on the outside.
Yeah, and inside.
But on the inside, he's not, and he felt like he couldn't tell his dad that because of that relationship with his dad. But then his dad dies, and his mom is she's out of her mind. I mean, I had known nothing about this family prior to watching this documentary, but she was out of her mind. Like, she ends up shacking up with.
Oh, that part was wild.
What was it? His uncle or something?
The cousin. The cousin. The lady who died with cancer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't she go with somebody's ex-husband? Somebody in the.
This just sounds like our parents.
That lady was Aaron Hernandez's cousin.
Yeah.
They died of cancer,
Tanya.
and that was her husband. So
Right.
he
They did the old wife swap.
So the mother
Yeah.
ends up shacking up with the cousin's husband.
Yeah. And
Aaron hates the guy.
Aaron connects to the cousin, who seemed like a shady character. So
Yeah.
God,
And
bless her, she died. But.
This just sounds like our life.
So Aaron hates the guy. So he basically tells his mother, "I'm out." Moves out. Can't forgive her for what she did. Like right after his father died.
Of course.
Goes and moves in with his cousin, who's
bad influence.
An awful influence. I mean, they're smoking weed, they're doing drugs.
A gangbanger, I'm assuming.
No, she's just like a.
But she was associated with those two guys, Wallace and Ortiz, the two guys.
Yeah,
she was associated.
Yes.
So he connected to these associates
like
through this lady.
She's like one of those people that like one of those just like low life like ratchet chicks, dude.
She's like the gang bitch. She's like,
Yeah,
I hang
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I'm not associated. I hang with them. I let them run through me every night. And that's it.
Basically.
I get it. Yeah.
So she
went to jail.
Wow,
for not saying
I
anything.
missed all this from watching that. Not watching that, crazy.
So that's where his kind of problems start, and Urban Meyer knows this, and he basically tries to keep Aaron Hernandez from coming home. Like he thinks that if he keeps him from coming home, then his problems will be mitigated because
keep him
his
around
problems
Tebow, yeah.
are in Bristol, Connecticut, at this house.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty right for the most part.
And Bristol, that place he went to is no like inner city bad place. That's
No,
school.
it's
Like, they made up another point of saying, "Oh,
it's a lot
everybody
like,
got out of there."
It's a lot
basically.
like Dartmouth
It
or
was
Westport.
good. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
But like Dartmouth or Westport, there's always people who will find a way to
of
try to
course.
gentrify it with this hood rat man. That doesn't exist there. It just doesn't exist there, but they put it there.
Yeah. So that was that was strange about the documentary because they're like showing Bristol, Connecticut high school, and you're like, wow, this is a beautiful place. Like,
Yeah,
this
absolutely
is
was.
The field.
yeah,
Bristol
and he's
Central.
living this like very different life, and he goes down to college, and it's almost like all the things that he learned growing up were forgotten, and that small window that he lived with that lady was what he was.
Yeah.
And then he went to college, and the issues started coming out. He was punching bartenders.
That's what
for
he
not paying
gravitated to.
bills.
That hood rat shit. That's like I said before. He came into the league with blood tattoos. Like this isn't new.
Yeah.
He had blood tattoos on him. He was gang affiliated. Enough with this CTE bullshit. He was a scumbag. If we're gonna start labeling all these people like this, then no one. If everyone is, then nobody is. If he's not a scumbag, then nobody's a scumbag.
The strange thing about the documentary that I didn't know was that he was projected to be like a first, second round pick, and he ended up going in the fourth
round.
He was off the board of some
Gronk
teams
went in the
entirely.
second round. Hernandez got picked in the fourth.
So
round.
he was before he even got drafted. It was well known that all the NFL teams knew, and there was like a memo sent out to NFL teams from his agent saying like, "Hey, listen, like we understand that Aaron has a lot of off-field stuff going on, but he's willing to sign a contract, essentially saying you can dump him for nothing. Like he just wants an opportunity to prove that he can change, basically."
Yeah. And
nobody wanted to deal with that, and the Patriots kind of took him in, and some of his friends commented when that happened. Forget, it wasn't the kid that said he had a relationship with him in high school. It was the other
with
kid.
the father.
Yeah, and he's like, as soon as I found out that Aaron Hernandez got drafted by the Patriots, I knew that was like the end for him because he's too close to home, and that was kind of what happened. He spent a lot of time back in Bristol, spent a lot of time with those people, the Ernest Wallace guy.
And Ortiz.
Wallace and Ortiz, yeah, and
the Bradley guy.
and those dudes were just bad people, man. They're just bad people. I mean,
Probably killed people themselves.
Oh yeah,
he knows.
that other guy. I mean,
All right.
that
The
other
Bradley guy that he shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what this whole push for CTE shit is. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. He was a piece of shit who also had a busted
he
brain.
said he had CTE though.
Yeah.
That's
They
fine.
flat out said it.
That's
They didn't say
fine.
maybe.
He was trash and had CTE. Those things are mutual. They're different. They're exclusive to each other, and they're in the same person. That's all.
So they took the doctor that was on there from Boston Medical took his brain and studied it, and she said that he had like the most advanced case of CTE that she's seen in someone his age.
Yeah.
And who's to say
there's not that many
and,
dying
who's to,
right now.
and we don't know much about CTE. Who's to say somebody with people who are psychos' brains are different than people that are normals' brains? Who's to say a person with his brain chemistry who also has CTE doesn't like flag up or look worse, look a certain way? You don't know that.
I didn't look at any of that movie as they made an excuse for him. Not once did it even cross my mind. I just it looked like this explained why, but it didn't doesn't justify anything. So it's like those
the
are
documentary
separate.
didn't do that.
No.
I didn't feel like
Everyone else in the world on social media came out justifying him. That's what I'm. That's what I'm here to
were they
vilify.
justifying
That's
the
what I'm here to
actions though?
vilify.
That's a real.
For the most part, the documentary did a pretty good job of staying mutual.
Yeah, I thought they just laid it out there, and there is something happened, right? Like so there is.
Well, I
an
walked
explanation.
away from it thinking they didn't really tell you what was the main trigger of why Odin Lloyd was killed.
Yeah.
It's
they kind of hinted at it as being him, Odin walking in on him having some sort of
that he was going to out him as a homosexual, and that he had hidden that homosexuality because of his father for so long. That's what they gave you.
And hey, listen, someone who's gang affiliated is definitely not likely to kill you if you're going to tell people they're gay. No, that would never happen, right? That would never happen. Hey, listen, the hottest dude on the block goes to jail, bangs a dude, comes out. You think if anyone found out and was going to tell people, he wouldn't kill that person?
Well,
whoever that person, like
the whole.
But I'm just saying, like
the whole premise behind the documentary is sort of to try to tie the unexplained rage and anger that this guy had, really for no reason, to the CTE, and if it's kind of a reason why, but I don't know if there's any research that kind of correlates the two. Is there?
Drink.
The only difference between him and someone with CTE, okay, normally people like him who are filled with rage and anger because they're homosexuals kill themselves. Someone with CTE kills other people. There you go. There's the difference.
But no, that's not what we've seen though, because other people, exactly. Junior Seau supposedly.
Well, he wasn't necessarily hiding rage and gayness either. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Different people.
Well,
have different brains.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Is it the homosexuality that drove him to kill himself, or is it the CTE that? You know what I mean?
The answer is always a multi-factor.
Yeah,
we're never gonna get one answer for it, right?
No. This is the hood rats and the shitty women of the world want to make you believe that this guy was a great father, because no, he wasn't a great father. He was trash. A good father doesn't kill people and take himself away from his family. Period. These people want to make you believe that this woman's a great woman because she stuck by her man. No. She's not.
Well, that was the other takeaway for me, is that they showed her hiding, getting rid of evidence, and then she sides with him over her sister. Yeah, really, right?
Yeah. Your sister, the man your sister loved, he killed him
because she's trying. She's clearly financially driven. I mean, there's no other way.
But she's also a hood rat, gang runs through me every weekend type bitch.
Is it possible to love a guy like Aaron Hernandez more than your own sibling? Like
it is when you're a hood rat. I've seen this before, dude.
Yeah,
when you are hood garbage who has a mentality in your brain of things like, dude, stepping on my shoes is grounds to kill somebody. Which people in his type of life were like that.
But he didn't have that type of life. That's the strange part about this whole documentary.
But he did for a small amount of time, and that small amount of time is what he globbed on.
He might have thought that he had that kind of life in his mind, but he didn't.
Okay, that's fine. But for a little while he did, and that's what he chose to hold on to.
He lived in a regular house.
Hey, listen, there are people who can do coke and they go, I'm never going to do coke again. They don't have addictive personality. It's not built into their structure of their DNA.
And the other part is using substances.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with this.
He was using.
It's the same thing with this. Some people can walk into that situation and walk out and be like, I don't want to do that. And some see it and they got it and it's there and that's what they are.
Yeah. And he screwed himself over with having that whole giant security camera system set up.
How about Bob Kraft basically being the one who put the final nail in the coffin? Is that a good term right here? But
the final dick in his ass.
His testimony, Bob Kraft said, well, Aaron came to me in between the time he was just a suspect and him going to court, and he told Bob Kraft that I was out at a club at the timeline of that happening.
And the timeline
he didn't know the timeline.
And the timeline
how do you know what the time it happened?
The timeline had never been released.
Right,
so he was
Bob
the only
Kraft's
guy that could have known it.
testimony in court was essentially what sealed the deal in the case. Like, how do you know at the time? He was nervous when Kraft came in. He kept looking over. He was all worried about Kraft.
Because he probably realized what he told him.
Yeah.
He probably realized
he was
what he
looking
told
for
him.
Kraft. They showed him in the courtroom.
Hernandez wasn't a stupid guy.
No.
I mean, if you can kill 3 people and play it in the NFL at the same time, like, you clearly are fairly smart, because I don't know how anybody else could have got away with
That was
murder.
one of the dumbest.
It might not even be
intelligence.
here's the thing. It might not even be intelligence. It might not even be intelligence, because let's look at guys like people like to say that what's his name?
But this guy shot 2 people at a red light in downtown Boston.
I get that.
Nobody saw it.
This is what I'm saying.
Like, nobody saw it. Nobody had footage.
But
like,
nobody's
nothing.
seeing it isn't intelligence. Nobody's seeing it is luck.
But
what was the asshole's name who killed 9 people? That all the chicks thought was hot. That
Ted
was
Bundy?
Yes, that ass. He wasn't smart. He actually got caught like 5 times, and the police were dumb and kept letting him get away. He wasn't a smart dude. He was just a sociopath. So if you think of it this way.
No, he didn't get caught like 5 times.
He literally, one way he escaped from prison was an open window. Like, he wasn't smart.
Oh,
he just
you mean
like, he wasn't.
You're talking about when he was in prison.
Yeah, he got caught for like 3 times by cops, dude, and he kept getting like. That's what I'm saying. He escaped twice.
Oh no, escaping
wasn't
prison
smart.
and getting caught like for the murders is 2 different things.
But I'm saying but people kept saying he was smart. He wasn't. If you look into the story of everybody, he wasn't smart.
No,
he was dumb, and that's why he got caught. But then they were dumber, and that's how he got away.
He's got all the time in the world to figure out how to get out of there.
So anyway, what I'm saying is maybe the absence of regular human emotion is because you're not making emotional type of mistakes. Maybe that's what it is, and we're saying it's intelligence. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe his lack of regular human conscience,
but doesn't CTE affects that part of the brain?
But also being a straight up crazy person does too. Ted Bundy didn't have CTE. He just
crazy, right? But those are explanations.
There's definitely people, and that are predisposed to this kind of behavior. I feel like, as far as like
the behavioral part,
either you have the ability to kill someone or you don't.
So
if you could shoot someone over a drink, that you can't blame that solely on CTE. You have a underlying issue in your brain that, besides CTE, that makes you that angry.
Dude, there are a million people in this world right now. Dude, go to Chicago, go to any nightclub, spill a drink on anyone. I bet you'll get shot afterward. Like, really? Like, they don't all have CTE. Like, that's the thing.
I understand that. Absolutely.
But so, like, what I was saying about the other thing is this: people with normal human emotions and conscience.
Everybody has normal human emotions. It's just how inflated they are.
But you know what I mean by like the people will say sociopaths have almost a lack of conscience. Like, it's not in their brain to understand. So what I'm saying is, when people have that, they have like things like anxiety, fear, and they make mistakes. Like when you do a crime of passion and try to hide it up, and you get caught immediately. When you don't have those kind of things in your head, like a conscience, you don't have the fear of mistakes, and maybe that's how you get away. Maybe it's not necessarily intelligence, premeditated intelligence. Maybe it's just, you're shaking as you're cleaning the blood and you're terrified because you're normal, and that's why you got caught.
I have a hard time going as far as you guys, I think, did.
And that's just a thought. That's not necessarily
in
right.
terms of the fact, like, he couldn't control himself. He didn't know right from wrong, which is insanity, right? Which never wins in court or wins like a minuscule. Because he never had an argument with his wife. He didn't kill his wife. He never had an argument with Coach Belichick. How come he didn't kill Coach Belichick?
Which I want to get into at some point.
He never had an argument down in Florida with anybody, with Urban Meyer. He didn't kill Urban Meyer.
Remember
that's even more strange
American
to me.
Psycho, the movie?
Right? He never even had a conflict that's publicized. Conflict, right?
Remember American?
How?
That's even more strange.
He was able to compartmentalize himself, right?
Exactly.
Because sociopaths are pretty charming.
Yeah.
Right? That's why so many people came on and said he was, well, I can't believe it. He was this and that.
Do you remember American Psycho?
Oh, yeah, Christian Bale,
so
of course.
Every time he was pissed about stupid things like the card or anything like that, he would go and like kill a hooker. Like he wouldn't kill he killed one peer, but he didn't kill the peers.
Right.
He'd be like, haha, that's crazy, guys, and then he'd leave and he'd be like, so that's why he didn't kill Belichick. That's why he didn't kill like his brothers.
No, I know why, but I'm just trying to compartmentalize those things like he did.
I'm on the same wavelength as you is what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's like that in American Psycho. It's like, oh, okay, guys, and then he leaves, picks up a hooker, and kills her. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a great movie.
But I want to poke some holes. I want to poke some holes here because I'm tired of us defending trash. We should be celebrating people like Kobe and not putting our time into celebrating trash, which is not what we're doing. Yeah, we're not doing that. But all the prayers and the this and the that and he can't defend himself, dude. You don't get to defend yourself. You're garbage. You should have been stomped in the street. You don't get defense. You don't deserve defense.
The thing that was like really, really like alarming and shocking to me was when he shoots that guy in the face. The guy that he gets his guns
Alexander Bradley, the Miami guy.
The story goes, Alexander Bradley, who testified against Aaron Hernandez, who's saying I gave him guns and he told me he needed guns for protection. I was with him.
I thought he shot him in the face.
I was with him when he shot those two guys in Boston. So they go to Miami and they go to a nightclub, and now this is post double murder in Boston. So
late 2012, early 2013.
Yeah. So Hernandez has been very hinky about everywhere he goes.
He's getting nervous. He's getting paranoid.
Bradley says this. He's like, everywhere this guy goes, he thinks everyone's a cop. Anyone who is dressed up, even in a button-up shirt, is a cop.
Doesn't that show some sense of consciousness?
Yeah.
But again, like we've seen crazy people like become manic after a certain.
He was using substances.
So he says,
not just a little.
So he says we walk into this strip club that Aaron was known to frequent. Then he was there, and he sees two guys in a suit, and he says those guys are cops. And he starts acting strange. So Bradley, being completely sick of him doing this every time they go out, he says, "Listen, dude, if they're cops, they're here because of the dumb shit you did in Boston."
Ooh. Yes,
and Hernandez basically loses his mind. Like he's like in a rage. They leave there and they're in the car and they're talking, and Hernandez pulls a gun out on him and shoots him right in the face and then leaves him there to die. Guy doesn't die.
Did he shoot him in the eye? Because his eye was also
No, it's probably where the bullet exited or something.
Yeah.
But he shot him in the cheek, I think. And the guy doesn't die. So this guy is like, that life that Aaron Hernandez thinks he lives, this guy really does live.
Yeah.
Because this guy is a legitimate gangster. This guy is like...
Yeah, he was.
the cops are like, "Who shot you?" And he's like, "Nobody shot me." And his eyes hanging out. And like, "Well, sir, we're trying to find it." Nope. I don't know.
Because he'll handle it himself.
So he leaves there. He tells the cops those things, which actually comes back to bite him in the ass in court. But he goes and tells the cops those things because... He says it right in court. I wanted revenge. Like I wanted to handle this myself.
Yeah, he did.
And he goes, and now he's like actively looking for Aaron Hernandez. Essentially, Aaron comes back to Belichick and says, "Hey, like I want to trade because I need to get the hell out of here. I'm afraid for my safety, for my family."
That's right. They gave him an apartment.
Yeah. But the strange thing here is the Patriots don't ask why. They don't. They just help this dude get another apartment in this little shitty condo complex.
They didn't trade him.
No, they refused to trade him.
They refused to trade him. He was a good player. I mean,
so Aaron, now paranoid as can be, goes and gets the security set up that Mike's talking about, all these cameras in his house, which become his demise because now they have a timeline which puts him in the house at the crime scene. I mean, they didn't overturn his. They left no stone unturned. And the thing that is really strange about this whole situation, though, is Aaron being as crazy and manic and violent as he is terrified for his safety. Like it's just ironic to me. A guy who can shoot someone he doesn't know over a spilt drink
is out of his fucking mind. Yeah,
being that paranoid about his own safety.
Well, that'll get people after you. That's for sure.
I wonder how paranoid Antonio Brown is.
He's up there.
Yeah, we'll get into that at some point.
Drew Rosenhaus dropped him.
He seems up there too.
Yeah, he's never gonna play football again.
But
no chance. Yeah, I mean the security system comes around, and for those of you that didn't watch the documentary, I'm going to spoil it for you, but he
cliffhanger. He
comes. There's a timeline essentially of his car traveling on surveillance cameras all through North Attleboro. They get him on that road that leads to the Odin Lloyd murder scene. Then they get him at a gas station buying blue Bubblicious gum, which he was found under the seat with the shell casing from Odin Lloyd's death. Then at the rental car place, they get the girl saying, "Yeah, when he came in, he offered me a piece of blue Bubblicious gum." And then they got him on the surveillance camera at the gas station buying it. They got him back at the house at relative time based on the timeline. And then he's saying he's trying to put it on the other two guys.
Well, the defense was terrible. The defense, he was there with those two guys. But he was so shocked that they did that he didn't know how to approach them. And then they have video of him hanging out the next day with the guys in the house, giving him his kid. Hold the kid. Yeah,
the defense. I think
so stupid.
I don't think that was the defense plan.
Well, they got stuck. They got tricked. And
they were like, shit, we got to try anything.
Yeah, when they came in and saw how many hours of surveillance footage the prosecution put together to literally piece an entire night together from hundreds of cameras across the city of Attleboro, literally to put, like, I mean, they put it all together to make a full timeline of this murder, and they were dumbfounded. I think they're like, there's no way we can refute that he was there.
And that's another lack of thought on his part, right? Let me bring him to Attleboro. I have this history. I live right nearby. Let's kill him in Attleboro. Let's drive him from over there and bring him to Attleboro.
Yeah,
they'll never think it was me.
Drove him from Boston.
Right, drove him from Boston to bring him where you live.
Yeah.
2 minutes away. 5 minutes or whatever it was.
I mean, the amount of work that went into that case and the amount of effort it took to put that together to ultimately convict him. That was another reason why I wanted to watch it. You know, that was interesting.
It was a good documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy's he's a nut, man. He's a nut.
What I like to do is because I was gonna get to, you said he never hurt his wife, and I was gonna get to that, was girl, whatever, and I'm gonna get to that. So the outpour since the thing is they've been trashing the gay dude in the film for lying, which he did lie. He lied about a bunch of things.
What did he lie about?
Yeah.
He said he was the star quarterback on the team, and he never even played.
Oh, yeah.
He never even played.
He did
never
say
even
that.
played.
I thought he was the quarterback.
He was like
not that they did much about that, but I thought he was the quarterback.
He was a backup to a backup. He never even threw to Aaron. They never even played on the field together. They were just buddies.
Well, because they did make it seem like he had a relationship with the quarterback. These are the two best players.
A bunch of guys from the school came out and posted pictures of the roster, the stats of the actual quarterback, and where that guy was.
It doesn't really matter to the story that much
doesn't,
anyway. But yeah,
but he embellished it. But people who are Hernandez apologists are using this as, oh, dude, this whole thing's a blown because this guy lied about this.
Well, it kills his credibility, I guess.
Okay, but why do you care about killing his credibility? Do you think Aaron Hernandez is innocent? Like, what are you trying to prove here?
Well, see, if you watch a documentary, you'd understand. But some people actually do think he's innocent. Yes,
they're dumb. They're just wrong
on every case.
They're
just blatantly wrong.
There was hundreds of people outside of the courthouse picketing, saying innocent.
Do you think they think he's innocent? Do you think they said? Do you think they think he's innocent?
They're all Patriots fans in front of his hood.
Do you think they think he's innocent, or are they just emotionally tied to the Patriots? To the
they're
point
Pats. Pats fans, and they're all hood rats.
Right.
But so that was one thing. It was that. It was the whole, like, they're trying to discredit
hood rat. Word of the day.
They're trying to discredit things like as if he didn't do this. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll pin 10 murders on him. It doesn't matter. He did 3. It doesn't matter how many he did.
Right.
Yeah, he's a murderer. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's a murderer.
Well, the other part at the end is he ends up with no convictions.
Yeah,
because he's an appeal. And they play. I mean, we knew that already.
So that's one thing.
Yeah, that got overturned.
So that's one thing.
Technically, he's not.
Another big thing. It's a big post. It's about like the time, the live feed, like your feed on Facebook. It's like this long of a post with a picture of him looking super handsome, smiling.
Great.
Awesome. He's got to look great in the picture. Saying how, he was given a bad beat, and how the whole thing, they sullied his name. He's wasn't here to defend himself. They're calling him gay. He can't even there to refute he's gay. Okay, let's get to that. Is being gay an insult?
Right.
If someone ever called you gay, I'd just be like, no, but he is though. Yeah. So now all of you people, the thousands of
I got called gay at that comedy show on the cruise.
The thousands of people who went out of their way to post on their social media to other thousands of people that you're now homophobic. Okay, so you're all homophobic. Cool. Okay, that's fine.
I love where he goes with this stuff. He goes over here. He's doing all right, and then it's like
I would never say in Kobe. I would never say. I would never use.
Now I'm gonna have PTSD.
I would never talk to somebody.
Hey, I saw that. I literally saw it go off. It just missed your face.
I saw it miss.
I would never say that and follow it up with.
Hernandez was up in here.
I would never. I would never talk about homosexuality and follow it up with no one's there to defend themselves. Defend against what? It's not an insult. It's not aggressive. What are you talking about? They thought he was homosexual. Okay, whatever.
It actually made him. They did make him more sympathetic in the sense of understanding where he was at.
There's a thing that really you haven't understood.
What's that?
All these things that you get so like emotional and angry about.
I've never seen a guy not watch a 3-hour movie and have so many comments on it.
The people that feel this way are generally not intelligent people.
No, they're hood rats. Listen to me. I've said this. This isn't new news. Where's my camera? This isn't new news. I have said multiple times on this on this broadcast, I have said I don't think we're all created equal.
If they gave him if they gave all those people a lie detector test and say, "Do you think is he innocent or guilty?" and you have to pay a $500 fine if you're wrong, would he say he's innocent? You think?
I have been very clear about this. I do not think we're all equal. I do not think we all deserve freedom of speech. I do not think we all deserve a vote. I do not think we all deserve a lot of things.
The liberal guy.
Some of us don't deserve things because we're dumber and we will hurt the society. It's all about the.
I'm glad he's including himself in
It's
the
all
category.
about.
I was going to say, can we
Can I
stop
finish
to my
the
left?
fucking point?
Go ahead.
It's all about the group over the individual. That's how the world works. So if some of you are going to hold the world back, then why do we have this? Hey, everyone gets a vote. Why? The minority's going to hurt us. Let them not get a vote. They suck.
You're
Like,
not
why are we not thinking
you're
about
not
the
going to
group?
edit that to the minorities are going to hurt us. You're not editing that into the show.
The minority over the majority. Dude, I just freaking Puerto Rican on my mic can't edit shit on me.
He's got to move to Russia or something.
He's got to watch the movie
No, dude, because,
before he can comment on it.
No, because
Yeah,
everyone's fine. Everyone's fine with democracy until it doesn't fit their version of democracy. And it's like, no, dude. The fact of the matter is, we don't all deserve the same voice because some of us don't got shit to say. Period. That's it.
Like
you
the
know
people
what?
that don't watch the documentary.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Does your daughter deserve a vote in who's president? No,
doesn't get
she's
one.
fucking 4.
She doesn't get one.
When she's an adult, maybe.
She doesn't get one.
She doesn't get one.
Okay, but some adults are just kids who are big, so they shouldn't get one either.
That's what we're going to give him a test.
So like, that's what I'm saying.
IQ test would be
That's
good.
why I argue about these people because I hate these people and I don't think they should get a voice, dude. I don't agree with social media. I don't agree with social media. I hate it.
Why are you so passionate about it if you know that those are the people that are saying it?
It's just a small percentage of people that are in the extremes, but they just stand out because they're like a sore thumb. Like,
Hey, it is what it is.
I don't care about them.
And you know what? I'm gonna do what I do on the show.
If
and
you-
it's what
if
I'm
you
doing.
can't-
Are you doing it again? The joke
No.
already hit once.
No. If you can't logically,
Yes, he's doing it again. He's setting up another bottle.
Hey,
What are you doing?
Learn from your mistakes.
if you can't logically form a sentence to argue what you're arguing, then I'm not going to take your
Dude, they
argument
formed
seriously.
12 paragraphs to argue with their argument. It's just wrong.
Yeah, one long
it's
run-on
all,
sentence.
all
Yeah.
grammatically
Yeah,
incorrect.
right.
Like
But-
the Emperor in the View.
But like,
Let's go get Chinese buffet because
but-
this is getting way off the rails.
But like, dude, I'm just tired of
good.
this. Like, we need to understand he's just a piece of shit. We need to stop defending him. Like,
My
Nobody's
dad just
defending him.
commented.
Just a small percentage.
I'm not talking about you.
There's nobody. There's always gonna. What are we gonna? We're gonna teach those people how to
Absolutes.
think correctly.
It's absolutes.
So
Listen to me.
my dad just commented, now you're insulting hood rats?
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, the people who listen.
What's wrong with rodents?
Okay,
man?
the Holocaust. The Holocaust.
Oh no, not the Holocaust.
No, listen to me. Listen.
Not the Holocaust.
Let me just
I'm gonna shut
speak
this
for
feed.
one
Can we
second.
Can
Let
we
me speak for
do
one
a
second.
pick on the
The
game?
people-
Oh, should we do Super Bowl picks?
The
Yeah,
people,
let's do a Super Bowl.
the
pick.
people who followed Hitler were a small minority against the rest of the world, right?
You're not. Yo, I'm out.
You're out because you're wrong.
I haven't said anything about it. How can I
Because
be wrong?
you keep saying, "Oh, don't talk about them because they're a small minority." But
There's
but
always
no,
gonna
dude,
be those
there's
people.
millions of people who think this way, and they're wrong, and they should hear they're wrong. Period.
Who's
That's it.
going to win the Super Bowl, Mike?
49ers.
Chiefs.
Chiefs? 49ers?
I have 49ers tying us in Pittsburgh.
3-1. You're wrong. We're the
You're wrong.
majority.
You're wrong. Chiefs are going to win.
The 49ers are probably going to win. I want the Chiefs to win. I don't think the Chiefs win. I
Oh,
want
you
the
have
I'm
Chiefs.
torn because
I
I
don't
don't want to
think
see,
the Chiefs
I
are
don't
gonna
want to
win.
see
I
San
want the
Francisco
So who are you
tie
picking to
us.
win?
I'm picking the Chiefs because I want
But
them to
I feel
win.
like
I don't think
this
they're going
could
to win.
start a
I
run
don't
from
think they're going to win.
Mahomes and the Chiefs, where people will start keep overplacing Mahomes higher up in the quarterback ranking list.
If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I think there's a good possibility that they could win another or two in the next couple of years. I do.
But usually, high
they
potent,
could, yeah,
high flying offenses get outdone
Yeah.
by defenses.
Yeah.
07 Patriots, 2013 Broncos.
Yep, absolutely.
I already have fatigue with Patrick Mahomes now. And,
Really?
yeah, I'm all set.
I
with
love
him.
watching him, man.
He's the GOAT.
He's unreal.
What do you mean,
Exactly what I mean.
Oh
It's-
my God.
He's the
You
GOAT.
know what? I'm
He's
getting
the GOAT.
ready to- No,
That's why
I'm getting tired of
He's the GOAT.
You
That's
can
why I
hold
don't
on.
want him to
No,
win.
that's exactly why I don't want him to
You
win.
can talk at
He's
nauseam about
overhyped.
Ryan
He's
Tannehill,
overhyped.
but you're over Patrick Mahomes.
He's overhyped.
What do you mean? I'm over him. He hasn't. What has he done?
He's
Nothing.
overhyped. He's overhyped for sure. I'll give him that. He's
done.
overhyped.
He's
What has he done?
overhyped.
Yeah, he's overhyped.
Why?
Because I mean, people are talking about
You
him.
can't say he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's been in the league 2 years.
No, no, no.
I
Give him
don't
a
care if
chance.
he never wins a Super Bowl. He could be
Has
the
nothing to
GOAT
do
to
that.
me, but
There's-
I'm just over
No, he's
him.
overhyped because there's like
It's not his fault.
6 quarterbacks that had the same year as him this year, and nobody even talks about those.
Those 6 quarterbacks didn't miss 4 games, 5 games.
He needed to. He missed 2 games.
Yeah.
Okay, he missed 2 games. How many did those other quarterbacks miss?
I don't know, but
2 games in Pat Mahomes' world is 370 yards a game.
okay.
And probably 3 touchdowns a game.
He
So that's
still
6
only,
TDs.
He still only threw 26 touchdowns compared
Okay,
to 50.
okay, so now add 6 more to that.
Okay, add 6
That's
more
30
to that.
something.
It's 31.
Okay, how many quarterbacks threw for 30 touchdowns this year? Maybe 3, 4?
Two.
Not even?
2.
2. Okay, 2.
All right,
He would have been another one.
That's a what if though. But it's,
I mean, they're always in shootout.
No, it's not a
games.
what if. It's going based on
I
statistics.
do
He
think-
statistically does this game-to-game basis.
I not that he's overhyped, but it's for the amount of hype he's getting. It's too early.
It's not his
think-
fault. They just
too early.
saturate the market.
I
with
think
talk about
since
it.
coming
That's
into the
all.
league,
It's not his fault.
since he made his first start, he is the best quarterback in football.
Yeah,
Okay, so what's overhyping about that? How much more can you be hyped?
but it's still there's still a.
Are people calling him a
where it's too
god? Are
much.
they saying he has magic powers, or are they
Pretty
just saying
much.
he's the best
He's gonna
quarterback in
win 5
football? Which he
Super Bowls
is.
in a row.
Turn on any station. It's all they talk about.
That's all they talk about. It's like
It's like before
But they're
LeBron
not.
won his first championship
Yeah.
with Kobe still in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No. So that argument works when people say Kittle's better than Kelsey. He's not. He hasn't proven enough. Kelsey's better. But with Mahomes has been the best quarterback since entering the league.
We can
That's all.
argue. We can argue that next week. We'll save that for next week. But Kittle's definitely better than Kelsey.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Definitely.
No, he's
But
not.
I
He's had
think
two. He's had 2 good seasons.
Overall, absolutely.
No, he's not. He's had 2 good seasons.
Kelsey cannot do anything
Doesn't matter.
besides catch the ball.
Hey, AB is better than Randy Moss because he played more recently.
Kelsey can't do anything besides catch the ball.
That's not
Nothing.
true. Kelsey's not a great blocker, but he does block.
Kittle,
And not only
Kittle eats people up on balls.
Okay, he eats people on blocks. You know what Kittle hasn't done yet? 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. Something no tight ends done. No tight ends done. None. Not
He's
Tony
got 2.
Gonzalez. None.
He's got 2 in a row.
2. Yeah. He doesn't have 4. When he gets 4, talk to me.
His first 2
When he
years?
breaks that record. Hey, when he's in the top 5 in receiving with wide receivers, he can talk to me. That's
Gronk would
it.
have if he wasn't so fragile.
Oh, he's going to stay on
Hey,
the Chiefs.
Gronk was better than both of them.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
He would have done,
The
but he
Chiefs
was too
also don't
fragile.
have 1,000-yard receivers, so that gives Kelsey a lot
That's
more.
not true.
opportunity. Yeah, it is true.
Tyreek got hurt, so he might not have got it. But
They
Tyreek's
spread-
a
they spread it there,
but
though.
you're saying he doesn't have 1,000 yards. They do. He just didn't get 1,000 yards because he was injured for
That
however many
helps
games.
Travis Kelsey get more yards.
But he does. But he does it every year though. That doesn't hurt.
They're
He
both
does it every
great.
year.
They're both great.
Yeah, they're both great. But he's
Let's
not
debate
better.
that next week. But let's move on, and we'll be back on next week, same time. We'll do a Super Bowl recap at that point, and there'll be a new Super Bowl champion and MVP crowned.
Who's going to win the MVP?
And possibly Mookie
If the
Betts
Chiefs,
is
if the
traded.
Chiefs win,
Well, you
well,
got. That's
They're
probably-
$100 million
if
off.
the Chiefs win, it'll be
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. Chiefs win.
It'll be
Mahomes.
If the
Well, I mean,
Niners win,
I'm
it'll be
saying
whatever
pick,
running back.
pick whoever you. Who do
No,
'cause
Niners win. It's
I'm
going to be
picking
Jimmy G.
Maybe not.
I already
Maybe
said
Kittle.
Niners are going to win today, and
Kittle.
I'm taking Jimmy G. No,
Kittle.
nah. It's got to be like
I can see.
extraordinary.
I think I see Kittle having a monster
You know
game.
why?
But I just
You know
don't know if
why
they give it
Kittle
to him.
can't get it? Because if
He's a
he
tight
scores a
end.
touchdown,
I
so
know
does
it.
Jimmy G.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Well, he would have to have
But Jimmy could also throw
an
4
outstanding
interceptions.
game. He would have to have like a Jerry Rice in Super Bowl
Yeah,
23
12
type game,
yeah, yeah.
11
12
catches, 215 and touchdown, or Deion Branch in Super Bowl 39 or Edelman last year.
it's got to be an outrageous game. Yeah, it's very unlikely, especially for a tight end.
Yeah.
Tight end has never won MVP. I don't
MVP
think.
I
no.
don't think so.
A lot of players have.
Yeah, a lot of spots.
But defensive players have. I mean, so that says a lot about
Yeah.
you know what I mean. How hard it is to win it from tight end.
Bosa, get him.
But yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same place.
That would be ridiculous. A rookie.
All of our show audio, as usual, can be
D
found
Ford.
on all the major platforms: Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts,
Redemption.
Google Podcasts.
Yep.
Check it out, download that stuff, share this. We are 105 likes away from 2,000 likes, so share our page, send it to your friends. Maybe we'll do like some kind of giveaway for 2,000 likes if we can get there.
We'll get Jameis Winston. We'll do
Yeah.
a giveaway.
Give away my balls.
He's got plenty of giveaways. Defensive Player of the Year, Jameis Winston.
I love that.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. We'll talk NFL awards and the Hall of Fame next week because we kind of left that on the table this
Enjoy
week.
the game.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Enjoy the game.
Peace.
Good stuff.
On behalf of all of us here at Two Dudes and a Mic, we would like to thank you for watching or listening to our show. This show is brought to you by our sponsor, The Best Ever. Visit www.thebestever.com for all your apparel needs. All of the video from our previous episodes is available anytime on YouTube if you subscribe to our channel, Two Dudes and a Mic. Our show audio is also available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Be sure to check out our page on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cover 3 Radio. We thank you for your continued support.